Hello and welcome in to Shmokin Takes. We finally made it out of the regular season and are into the playoffs. How quickly will the Cowboys accidentally lasso themselves and fall out of them? Coaches are getting fired left and right. Is it the Schmokers' time to take over as head coaches? And I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait to see which team the refs decide to bless over next week's games. This episode will be a new format highlighting our playoff predictions, including wildcard winners, full playoff brackets, a comparison to how we did from preseason, and a special announcement for our new contest/giveaway. Let's get smoking. Shmokin.
Smoking.
Welcome
The
in.
delay.
Yeah, that was a fat delay.
I love it.
Welcome
No,
in,
it
everybody.
wasn't. I think we had audio issues because I said that right after.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's a
whatever.
remote.
That's okay.
It's a remote pod.
It's
so.
the remote pod. And if you didn't know already, I got here Coop
Heyo.
and K-Dog
Hey,
and K-Cat. So boys,
not on camera.
I got this question actually quite a bit this past week. And people were asking me because apparently everyone's into animal debates now.
Jesus.
They said, who would win in a fight? A husky or a wolverine? And I think we found the answer last night.
Yeah. Those Wolverines are quite aggressive, aren't
You know, I didn't think you were going there.
Where do you think I was going?
I don't know, but I thought we were gonna pretend that just didn't happen last night.
It's worth talking about, right?
Yeah.
Because we've been
No,
talking
I
about
agree.
it for like a month. And
Yeah.
I mean, I was reflecting on it from my short drive home last night.
Yeah.
And I was extremely disappointed. I think we all can agree that we expected
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot different team to show up. However, second place, I don't want us to just be like, oh, happy-go-lucky guy, like, oh, we got
Right.
second. But reflecting on all my years of watching college football, I can't think of another time where I had so much fun watching like Penix, Odunze, McMillan,
Mm-hmm.
DJ, Culp,
Trice.
Trice, dude, everyone just balling out.
Yeah.
Like, this is such a fun team to watch. And I think like I'll always, like, from now on, whenever I watch the Dogs or any other team, I'm going to be like comparing to this team from here on out forever, for the rest of my life.
Right. I mean, this isn't a team we're ever going to see again, right? That's kind of the sad thing about a season ending. It's like, at least last year, we kind of got a lot of returning people. But this next year, it's going to be a whole different team.
Yeah.
So I think it's just, you just kind of got to reflect and enjoy the time we had. And I mean, this is the best I've ever witnessed us doing, right? So when we were in college, we got basically fourth place, right? We got into the playoffs and then we lost to Bama. I mean, this time around, we got second, and I think that team was capable of doing much better. It just wasn't one of our best games we ever played. And I think our defense, like, if you want to get into the actual game a little bit, like, our defense really came to play. Like, after that first
After the
two
first
big
two.
runs they gave up,
Yeah.
right? It's just like our defense was like, all right, let's do this thing, and then our offense just could never get going.
Yeah, we had so many chances to really pull ahead, win the game, and I don't hate, like, we had a lot of fourth and longs that we went for. I'm thinking like 2 or 3 off the top of my head, and I don't hate the play calls. Like, looking back on them, like, I think they worked.
They worked,
like,
yeah.
And it was just drops or just just a little off rhythm that really kind of we shot ourselves in the foot. But we had plenty of chances to win, and honestly, like, Michigan also had plenty of chances to win.
Oh, I know.
Like, they could have blown the game out even more.
I think it was kind of a test. It's kind of a testament to how good that Michigan defense actually is. Just to they capped us all night. We didn't have any of those big plays we always see. I think we were all expecting that, those 40-yard bombs to Odunze or McMillan, whatever. And the one we get is called back. But I mean, we only got like a few of those, and that defense just really stopped us. I think that's kind of like the story of the game, really.
Yeah, there was so much pressure on Penix all game. Like, I don't, and that just he was just totally off rhythm. It just felt like the Huskies were just kind of hanging on for so long. they did have chances to tie it up, in the second half, but they were just hanging on, and then Michigan just pulled away. So it's
Yeah.
unfortunate. I also, like you guys were saying earlier, like I hate to demand a second place finish in any sport, but
Right.
if you are going to in college, I mean, it's so hard to get there in college football with 4 team format.
Mhm.
And so I think you do have to give them credit. Most teams do not even, you know, get the
Oh
chance
yeah.
to be there. So it was a
Yeah, I
great
don't.
season.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever see a team like this again, right? Like, the last team
Yeah.
I think of that kind of had the same comp was like Joe Burrow with Jamar, with Justin Jefferson, like these, just deep pocket passers throwing bombs.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know of any other QBs that are doing that right now.
I mean,
Even you look across the field, JJ McCarthy had his biggest impact was a 30-yard
it
run.
was
So
pretty pedestrian. Yeah. It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
he kind of rode the coattails of his running backs and his defense. He didn't really. I mean, he's just a game manager. I mean, nothing
yeah.
against the guy, but it's not
Just
like he
like
was
Dak Prescott,
spectacular. He
according
did
to
enough.
Cam Newton.
Yeah, I
K
guess
Dogs,
so.
K Dogs grinning
Uh,
over there. Yeah.
I'm gonna save that talk for later, but yeah, what a ridiculous statement.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. Well, we'll get on to the real part of the show, the NFL. That's what everyone came here for. But good job, dogs. And if Michael Penix or Kalen DeBoer or maybe even better, Jack Westover, if you're listening, love to have you on. Love to have you guys on. All right.
I thought you were gonna say come to the Seahawks or something.
No, we'll get them on the pod, baby. I got a lot of great questions for those guys. Also, might be a hot take, but I think Penix played himself out of like a round 1, maybe round 2 pick last night.
I wouldn't say round 2. I'd say he's now like bottom first round, upper second.
Yeah.
I mean, he still showed what he can do against Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could tell he just wasn't doing his thing in this game. He was getting that pressure going
He needs
on
that
him and
Lions O
stuff.
line in the NFL.
Yeah,
That's
I
what he
think we
needs.
all know his capabilities. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, before we jump in, make sure to like, follow, subscribe on Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Check out the TikTok. It's been hot. Smoking hot, some might say. Check out the merch store. Coop just dropped some really cool new Smoking Hot Takes UW and Michigan logos that are sexy AF. So give those a check.
oh yeah,
And yeah, I think that's about it. And then other big news, now that the season's over, now we're getting the removal of all the head coaches. Most notably today, Mike Vrabel,
yeah.
which I was
That was
just reading about before the pod, and it sounds like the owner was thinking about trading him, but then they just thought it was too complicated, and so they just fired him to start fresh.
weird. That was a shocker to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he deserves that. I think that's just the Titans are rebuilding.
Yeah,
That roster must be, I mean, among the worst in the NFL. What are you gonna do with
right.
that? I mean, and Mike Vrabel has shown that I think early in his career in Tennessee, he kind of, uh, you know, overachieved with that team in terms of like their playoff success and everything. I don't think they were ever talent-wise good enough to be there. So I think whoever gets Mike Vrabel is gonna get a very good coach.
Yeah, I think
Um,
there's about 6 to 8 teams that are chomping at the bit to go get him. Like,
Oh, so you think he'll be like a guaranteed head coach on a different team?
oh, absolutely. That's why I mean
yeah,
I
I
texted you
think
guys. I think
so. I think
he's
so.
definitely he has a history with the Pats. I could totally see him going there.
That's what I've been seeing a lot
Just
of
off the top of my head.
rumors about. Yeah, so he was also coach of the year, I think 2 years ago. What sounds right? And there was a bunch of the kind of tweets coming out or like news reports coming out from like some of the Tennessee players, and they were like Derrick Henry was like, "No way, that's
Whoa. I mean,
crazy."
Yeah.
I think that's pretty telling that Henry's probably not going to be back either.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, they're
get rid
starting
of your head
fresh. Like,
coach.
Yeah,
I
I
think they're
They're
going
they're
full
gonna
starting.
rebuild.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're gonna clean house there. Henry will be
Tannehill's
gone.
gone.
I
Hopkins
think
probably
Tannehill already
gone.
said he's out. Like he said like
Yeah.
I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
So he'll be another great backup somewhere.
I mean, is Hopkins going to want to stick around for another year? You know,
Was he
probably
on a
not.
1-year deal or was his?
In 2 year,
I think he
in two
was.
year.
Oh,
He doesn't
okay.
want to go down on a sinking ship at 30 years old. You know.
No, homie should go somewhere where he can win a ring.
Agreed.
Come to the Hawks. We could use him.
Hey, kind of nice.
Yeah, and then Arthur Smith is gone. Yeah, there you go. Arthur Smith's gone. Praise the Lord.
Yeah, everyone. I heard. You could, if you listen closely, the whole world cheered right when that news dropped. Thank goodness, man.
And the loudest of all of them was Bijan.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, thank God he's gone.
Good time.
Yeah, and then Ron Rivera. Sad that he's gone, but
That
I mean, they didn't
one-
have a great year.
Yeah,
but
that one
tough
makes me a little
situation.
sad. I never, like, I don't even know if he's a bad or good coach. It's just like maybe it's the whole story he has that's kind of like giving me a bias to pull for him.
Yeah.
But we all saw that coming
Yeah.
too.
I mean, outside of him taking the Panthers to the Super Bowl, which I think is what in our head cemented, like, oh, this guy's a really good coach. He hasn't done a whole lot. Granted,
I mean,
the
he beat
Commanders aren't
cancer.
exactly the most. Well, that's true.
The ultimate opponent.
That was a pretty decent win, I suppose. But but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought of him as a good coach. I think he'll have a job somewhere. I don't know if he'll be a head coach. I could definitely see it. I mean, people look for that experience.
I could see him as like a coordinator or
Yeah.
something. I don't know what side of the ball he's like known for.
Yeah, I don't really remember what he was even doing before
Yeah.
Washington. I think he's he was a defensive player in the NFL, I think.
Okay.
So I assume he's more of a
The
defensive
linebacker
guy.
or something.
I think so, yeah.
If you guys had to go, if you could choose what team you go coach for, but they have to be head coach needy, what one would you choose?
For the Chargers.
Just so you can hang out with Kellen Moore?
That's right. No, and then
I think
sorry. I feel like
Well,
that
I-
team already. Come on, K Dog. You gonna cut me out again? I feel like that team is just kind of waiting for a head coach to come in. Like you already got Justin Herbert, you got Keenan. You're probably gonna draft a running back. Got Mike Williams coming back, so I think they just need some juice in the coaching staff for them to kind of turn around.
I'm going to Atlanta. We're drafting a quarterback in the first round, and
Dang, I kind of
see where
forgot
that
about
takes us.
that.
I mean, that seems like the most obvious choice to me with all that young talent there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm going to New England. I'm recruiting Tom Brady and Gronkowski to come back. Just have a whole
And
renaissance.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, get Antonio Brown. Yeah, that's where I'm heading. All right, should we do our Shmokin Hot Take recap from
Yes, sir. I think K Dog and I can do this one together, right?
Yeah, you wanna do it quick?
Sure.
So my part of the Shmokin Hot Take was Justin Fields having some sort of control of was it 5 touchdowns? Either 3 passing, 2 rushing, something like that. And I don't even know the stats. I didn't watch this game. I don't even know if he had one. You got us, K Dog?
He had so you had him having 5 touchdowns. I had him having 4 touchdowns and 400 total yards. He ended up having 0 touchdowns.
That could be a Shmokin Hot Take too. You could say he scores 0, and that'd be kind of hot. So
could have. He ended up with about 175 total yards.
Wow.
Yeah, great game for Justin Fields.
One silver lining I saw Justin Fields, he finished this year with his most ever wins as a starter in a single season.
There you go.
That would be 4 wins.
Oh boy, Justin Fields.
Oh my god.
And we're like trade him to the Hawks.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what happens to him.
Yeah,
somebody's
go,
something.
or are you gonna keep going?
No.
To be fair, there were a few games where Bajente came in and played, right? And there was also some games where they blew like a very decent lead. So I think that 4 wins is kind of it's not really telling what type of season the Bills played.
Didn't Bajente get one of those wins at least? Didn't he beat the Raiders?
I don't know.
I think he did.
Probably. I think the first game he started, I think he ended up winning.
Yeah. But. So is it really the most wins for Justin Fields in his career? I don't know about that.
Well, that was outside of any
backups,
backup, so I know I'm cherry picking. I just thought it was funny, but
that is
it
funny.
It does not tell the whole story. Agreed.
Oh, that makes it even funnier, in my opinion. It's like there's a stat. It's like, oh, it's not good. All right. My Shmokin hot take kind of hit.
All right,
Oh.
come on.
It
Let's hear
did. So here's what I said. I said Snoop, aka
it.
Tyler Huntley.
No.
He had a to have a Lamar like game. So we put some stats on this: 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, with 50 on the ground. So here's what he had, fellas and people out there. It was pretty close, right? And honestly, I
Yeah.
was watching this and I was like, I think he's gonna hit. He threw for 146, so only 100 yards less, and and he ran for 40, so 10 yards less than what I called for.
How
He
many
did throw a
touchdowns?
touchdown. He threw 1 touchdown. So here's my rationale for why this hit.
No.
Because Lamar had, whenever he's played in his MVP, I'm putting MVP in air quotes, MVP season, he had the full weapons. He had Zay Flowers,
Oh
he
my
had
God.
Odell, he had, all your normal guys. Guess what Tyler Huntley had? He had Nelson Aguilar.
And
Who's
Isaiah
like,
Likely, who's been playing with Lamar for the past 4 or
Isaiah
5
Likely
games.
is not anything special.
Are you kidding me?
So,
Hey, but regardless, though, you knew this going in. You knew he was playing with backups.
yeah. And so I think you guys should
Yeah,
allow
you
a
can't use it
50%.
as a
I think
case.
you should allow a 50% threshold, and we should
No,
announce this as the first ever smoking
No.
hot take that hit.
no,
No.
no.
Absolutely
I
not.
am honestly, I'm shocked you even attempted something like this to try to rationalize you
Leave it
getting
to
that
Prophet
right.
Jay to
I
support his
think
delusions with more
I
delusion.
think you guys are just salty because I might be the closest it's ever been.
I was the closest with Derrick Henry a few weeks ago.
I don't know. I had one that was pretty close a while back.
I think K Dog was the closest with Tyreek Hill getting
With Tyreek
No,
Hill.
mine that was when I had
Yeah.
my one that
I
was,
think
and it was
No.
closer. I was definitely closer. Oh, it
I
was the
think-
Dak Prescott
think-
one.
we could argue about these all day. At the end of the day, we have not gotten one right. That's all I care about.
Well,
I don't
not
care
until
how
next
close
week,
we
K-Dog.
are.
Not until
Yeah,
next
I
week.
mean, that's the beauty of it. We have a new chance every week. So,
Right.
season's not over. Let's see.
It's not over. It's not. And that's what, well, we're going to talk about regular season. That is now over. So we had our playoffs decided. The standings are set. So I guess we'll just jump into the teams that got snubbed that were trying to get in to that last wild card. So some notable teams. The Colts were snubbed. The Jaguars. The Bengals. Although they didn't have a chance in week 18. The Seahawks, and I'm forgetting one. The Saints. All were snubbed,
Mhm.
unfortunately. So our Hawks are out.
Yep. Good
Um,
riddance.
Yeah, get them out of there. But let's start from the top. Let's talk about Texans Colts because this game, while not a banger in score, was kind of a banger. Like definitely coming down to the end. Gardner Minshew at home, driving down the field, getting to like the 10 with like less than a minute to go. 4th and 1, throws a little ball to the sideline, just a little out route for the running back to catch and just carry past the one. That's all he needed. Guess what happened? Back hip,
Yeah,
hit him
man.
in the hands, drop the ball.
Yeah, they had this in the bag, dude. At least to tie it up or whatever. I actually no, they had missed that.
They would've
field goal,
won.
so they
would've
would have
won.
gone for the winner.
Yeah.
It's just terrible because Prophet Jay and I called the Colts here. We were feeling good going into the weekend. K Dog was like, "Oh snap, I'm gonna lose a game," and then Goodson, for whatever reason, they take Jonathan Taylor out, who literally like went to the locker room because he was hurt. Then he came back on the field because he's like, "I need to be on the field for this." They take him out. He's been playing well. They throw in this rookie, who, granted, Minshew's pass was a little behind, but you got to catch that
They
ball.
hit him in the hands. They hit him in
A
the
fourth
hands.
down conversion
yeah.
for the game. It's just weird play calling to me. Like,
I mean,
and Jonathan Taylor's not a bad pass catcher. So
I mean, Jonathan Taylor didn't just have a good game. He literally carried that Colts offense. He had what, like almost 200 yards. Minshew didn't do anything that game. I know he was leading that drive, and I don't know. I don't know what to make of that 4th and 1. Obviously, watching it, you feel like Goodson should have caught it, but it wasn't a great pass. I don't know. It's just I think both should be held responsible for that. Um, Yeah, it's tough because you got to believe that if they convert that, Colts are probably scoring, right? I mean, they'd have
Right.
10 yards to go. Yeah, unfortunate. But fortunate for me who picked the Texans. I was definitely rooting for that.
Yeah, of course you were, K Dog. Of course you were. Yeah, I mean, what Johnny Taylor was to this team was basically what like Blake Corum and like Donovan Edwards was to Michigan last
So,
night. That's
Come on,
basically what it
guy.
was.
Come on,
I mean,
dude.
let's be honest though. Colts and Tex, who's going to be more fun to watch in the playoffs, the Texans or the Colts? To me, it's very
Yeah,
obviously the Texans.
yeah, it's true.
Maybe you guys disagree.
Do you guys think?
No, I'm there with you.
Do you guys think if Anthony Richardson is healthy this whole season, the Colts are in?
I don't know. I
I have
have
no
no
idea.
opinion.
We never really saw what he was, honestly. I mean, he
Yeah,
showed flashes, but
it's hard to
we don't
say.
know if he was capable of winning those games.
Yeah,
If
So,
anything, he probably would
I
have gotten
think
hurt again.
they're in. I think they're in. Honestly, if he's healthy the whole season, I think he's in.
Is he
Hopefully,
rookie of the year over Stroud? Is that what you're gonna say
no.
too?
That's Jameer. That's Jameer Gibbs, my rookie of the year.
interesting.
I
Interesting.
mean, he's not going to be if Stroud
I mean,
didn't. You know who should be who should win an award though? What's his name? D'Amico Ryans. He should be coach of the year. It
maybe.
should not. The odds are in favor of Kevin Stefanski right now, and I honestly like.
What?
Yeah, so it's Kevin Stefanski. Last time I checked, was the
How
clear
is it not
favorite.
Dan Campbell still?
No, I think it's because of
Dude.
Joe Flacco
That's
and
Dan
bringing him on
Campbell does
board.
not deserve. It's because
they
Kevin
would.
Stefanski is in the playoffs with, he's started 4 quarterbacks, won a game with 4 different quarterbacks in one season. That's pretty impressive.
Oh, big whoop! Come
What do you mean,
on.
Well,
big whoop?
it's impressive when you have Deshaun Watson and everyone thinks he's
What
the
is
greatest thing on
what is
God's earth.
Yeah, true. What has Dan Campbell done other than like people like him? And I mean, the
He's
Lions are
taken
a
a.
good team. He took a good
They were
team
a
to the
below
playoffs. Oh
500 team
wow,
last year.
yeah, and then they built it up.
Okay,
They have
that's
a
a
good
coaching thing.
roster.
That's a
Yeah,
coaching thing.
it's also a
Are you
talent thing
serious, K
too.
Dog?
You think the Lions are
It's
in the
a talent
playoffs with
thing. So you're
4 different
saying Joe
starting
Flacco's not
quarterbacks?
talented, and Jerome Ford, and the offensive line, and
You
the
think the
defense for
Lions
the
are in
Browns
you
aren't
think the
talented?
Lions are in the playoffs if they had the same quarterback progression as the Browns did this season?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
because they
mean, I
have
wouldn't say
they're
Jared
very
Goff's any like world
talented.
beater or anything. He's
Yeah.
had games where he threw 3 interceptions or fumbled 3 times.
Yeah, put Joe Flacco on the Lions. They might be an even better team, K Dog.
Oh my
There you
god.
go. See, I even
I
got Prophet
disagree.
Jay on my.
Yeah, I think well, I don't know if I agree with Dan Campbell being coach of the year. However, I do think he is a great coach, and
I do.
he built a winning culture in Detroit after what they go like 1 in
Right,
16,
K-Dog.
1 in 15 a couple years ago.
He hadn't gotten the playoffs since like the 60s, bro.
It's just not even true.
K Dog's still hating
The
because he knows that they lost last week. That's
Look,
all.
I'm not trying to hate on Dan Campbell and the Lions. It's just to me, he's not in the conversation for Coach of the Year. I do like your
What?
D'Amico Ryan. I do
He's
like
not
your
okay.
D'Amico Ryan pick.
I
I
could see
definitely put
why
him above Dan
I
Campbell.
could see why you don't think he could get Coach of the Year, but to say he's not even in the conversation, to say there's not even whispers about Dan Campbell being the
Okay,
Coach of the
well,
Year.
there's whispers, but there's not. He's not gonna win. He's not, I mean,
He was literally the front runner for like 3/4 of the season.
well, I'd have to check the odds, but
Me too.
he's
I pulled
not
it
Stefanski is
out of my ass, but still.
just like Lamar is not Prophet Jay's MVP.
damn
Dan
Yeah,
right.
for
Campbell is
some reason you
Dan
hate Dan
Campbell is
Campbell
not
because
my
you
Coach
guys
of the Year.
lost to him. You lost to him a couple weeks
No,
ago. That's why.
I love him for his stubbornness.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on.
So the updated standings is Kevin Stefanski is the minus 950 favorite right now.
950.
That's crazy.
That's
That's just
locked, basically.
That's an automatic win. Yeah.
D'Amico Ryans is in second at plus 750. Dan Campbell's in fourth at plus 1900.
Who's at third?
Shane Steichen of the Colts.
What? Well,
Yeah,
at
I don't
least
know
I
why the
got
Colts.
closest out of all of us. Anyways, we'll
I
cover that
think
later.
it's safe to say Dan Campbell's out of the conversation based on those
I think
odds.
so too. I mean, there might be still a little bit of a
Okay,
whisper there, but
All right. Let's go. Jags Titans. We already talked about Vrabel getting fired. So this is 28-20. This is kind of a D. Henry, kind of a legacy
yeah,
game.
baby.
I feel like we should have seen this coming, K Dog.
I mean, I
who
didn't see
really
it
would have
coming.
said? So last time they played, Derrick Henry did not play this well. So I don't know why you would see this coming. Only I can.
Yeah,
I don't know
the
what to make of the
timeline.
Jaguars at this point. I mean, I guess Trevor Lawrence is probably still not 100% healthy, but I don't know. There's a lot of question marks. He doesn't really have, besides that, doesn't really have any excuses anymore. It's his third year in the league. He's
Yep.
the #1 draft pick. He's got plenty of talent around him on offense. Um, just can't get it done. I don't know. Is he ever going to make that next step?
I don't know.
Doesn't
Usually
seem like
third
it.
year you see that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So it is frustrating if you're a Jags fan, like our local C-Dubs Jags fan. But I don't know. I think you got to call into question, like, is he actually that prospect people thought he was? Because he was supposed to be like lock, right? Kind of
He's
like
supposed to be like Peyton
Andrew
Manning.
Luck and Peyton
yeah,
Yeah.
Manning.
right. He
So
was way up there. Yeah,
Yeah, it seems like this team really kind of fell off a cliff once Christian Kirk went down. Like they were already
yeah.
kind of struggling, but even like especially once Kirk went down, it seems like when they're missing one of their wide receivers, the offense starts to kind of just crumble a little bit. Like the whole game, the game plan, the rhythm, the schemes are just different. Like we even saw it with Zay Jones. Like when Zay Jones was in the game, Ridley was going nutty. And like Ridley was supposed to be this guy who like elevated this team, right? Like Kirk was already a pretty good #1 last year. Ridley comes in, takes that #1 and is dominant. It's supposed to be as dominant as some of these other like really touted wide receivers on these other teams, but he just wasn't. And then and then Derrick Henry just like looked unstoppable. 153 yards, tutty, 60 his long was 69 yards. And like that's just kind of
nice.
that's but like we kind of I feel like we should have seen this coming. Like it's Derrick Henry's most likely last game on the Tennessee Titans. Of course he's gonna of course he's gonna ball out. He's been there. He's done this his
Yeah.
whole career, not his whole career, but like the last 3 or 4 years. How did we not see
I
this
mean,
coming? He was gonna destroy, and like Tannehill's not gonna beat you through the air.
yeah, I got a stat for you guys here. It's about Trevor Lawrence. So Sam Howell this season had a 25 to 21 touchdown to turnover ratio.
Oh, I
Trevor
saw this.
Lawrence, oh, you did see this, has a 24 to 21 touchdown to turnover ratio.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
So much for your
Kind of
Yeah.
MVP
crazy.
there, K Dog.
Oh,
Yeah, I hope he doesn't hear about me doing that. I think I set some sort of curse on him.
I
I
think
don't
you
want
should
him
get
coming
docked
after
points,
me.
actually. Maybe even from your standings points, you should get docked.
Yeah, I mean that one was. I think if we were to go back, take away hindsight, that was probably still like my boldest take of the preseason. That this whole Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, etc.
Yeah.
I could see the path where it happened. Clearly, though, that's not the case, and I mean, you can't feel too good being a Jags fan going into the next few years unless something turns around quickly.
Right.
I guess we'd have to get C-Dub's opinion on that one, but
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
but
this year, like you go in, the expectations are you at least win the division, and then you probably win a wild card
Take the
game.
game, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's probably the minimum, right?
Like
Like
I
especially with
don't
Calvin
yeah, for
see
Ridley.
sure.
like where does this team get better? I can't say on the O line or defense kind of side of things, but like they already have kind of a wide receiver core that you'd think could do it. And we all expected Trevor Lawrence to. Travis Etienne, he's that dude. It's like, what's that missing piece? It's just Trevor not making that next step. So
Also, speaking of curses, I think my most accurate and bold take was the quarterback curse
oh
for
yeah,
Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and Marcus Mariota from the show Quarterbacks.
yeah.
Patrick Mahomes had his statistically worst year, his worst year since being in the
Yeah,
league, and
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins was out for the whole season or half the season.
Well,
so
So,
yeah, we know what happened to
what's
him.
Marcus Mariota up to?
mm, well, he started last week. Can't say he looked all that, or he didn't start, but he came in when Jalen Hurts' finger went
Oh, that's right. I
backwards,
forgot he's on
and
the
I can't
Eagles.
say he
Yeah,
did all that great. He lost to the Giants, so that's rock
yeah,
bottom from where I'm standing.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
yeah. I
So
forgot he's on
I'll
the
give you
Eagles.
props for that one, man.
Yeah,
just,
good,
just pay
good
attention to
call.
who's on the show next year, guys. Don't draft him in fantasy
It's
like
the
I did.
new, it's the new Madden curse, like you said, or
Yeah,
the new
yeah.
like number
Peyton
one
Manning
pick in
is active
fantasy
curse.
curse, or yeah, it's just a lot of curses out there.
A lot of curses, a lot of
Jermaine
gates too,
Kearse.
a lot of gates. Um, How about all right? Let's get into the. I don't want to talk about this one. It's been a tough weekend for Seattle sports. Um, Seahawks Cardinals. So the Seahawks won, which was actually the opposite of what Coop and I wanted to happen because we both picked
Yeah,
the Cardinals. And
it's
funny
funny.
enough, we won on a missed field goal that Prater usually hits all day, every day, like from 50 yards.
Right. It's
So
funny. So we picked the Cardinals, and then my storyline was like, okay, the Bears are gonna win, but it doesn't matter because the Cardinals are gonna win, and neither of those things happened.
yeah,
But to me, I didn't really care about us winning or losing. I was kind of hoping we would lose because I think we need to kind of scrap this whole, not this whole team. I think we still got a lot of good parts to it. But something's got to change and change quickly. We only got DK. He's 26, 25, 26. And I guess we have Jackson Smith. But we only have Geno for a certain amount of time. Are we going to draft a new quarterback? I hope so. But I think we just need some new methodology in the system. Like Prophet J, myself, C Dubs have talked about it as Seahawks fans. It's just like we need new juice. Some young blood to come in. So
well,
that's what I just look forward to.
Pete Carroll's already said he's coaching next year.
I
So
mean,
I
he
mean,
can say
it's
that
not
all
his
he
choice.
wants.
I know it's not
Yeah.
his choice, but he already said, "Oh, I'm like 72, 73. I'm still
I
kicking,
wish
baby."
the fans. I wish it could be like the fans just vote in to
No,
say
because we'd have
who
a
they
new
want
head
to
coach
get.
every year. Are you kidding? Unless you win a Super Bowl, fire him. Get rid of him.
I know, but still,
New
man.
DC every game.
Like I
Literally.
love. I mean, maybe Jim Harbaugh or Bill Belichick.
No. You're telling me you would want Jim Harbaugh to come coach the Hawks? Hell no,
Fine,
you
Kellen
wouldn't.
Moore. Okay.
No, he's even worse. That's
um.
awful. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same position.
Yeah.
I I'm fine with Pete Carroll, I guess. I'm not like I just feel like we're in a limbo. We've been in purgatory for like the last 5 years. With once like
Yeah.
the Legion of Boom kind of faded away and Russ was still playing like okay, but we just didn't really have like a great defense then. Like there's just always been something missing that's keeping us
Yeah.
from really
We're kind of
being
in
like
that.
an elite team.
Yeah, we're in that like dreaded cycle of mediocrity that we always kind of talk about for these teams like the Commanders and the Jets. We are unfortunately we got to look in the mirror and we got to say, hey, we're actually in that cycle too right now.
Yeah, we are. And it's like when we traded Russ to the Broncos a couple of years ago, it was like Pete Carroll coming out and saying, this is not a rebuild. We're just revamping or whatever the
Right.
case. But I kind of wish it was a rebuild because yeah, sure, we're over 500, but we're not making the playoffs. We don't have that great of a pick. What else? What do we have to show for it? Gino had an average at best year. We didn't really get Njigba nearly involved as I would have liked to see, personally. Granted, we did have some big like injuries to the O line, which affected Gino's play. Whereas last year, the O line was playing really well, and we didn't really have those injuries pop up. So, I will say, Coop, though, I'm on the train where I would love a new QB. Like, Gino's not the guy. Drew Lock's not the guy. As much as I love to gas him up, like get a new QB. He doesn't have to start right away. I'm fine with that. Like, I recognize that next year's probably not another year where we're
we're
going to be
not
making
winning the
big
Super
leaps.
Bowl next year.
So maybe let him sit for a little bit, and then if Gino gets hurt or Drew Lock isn't there or whatever the case, let him get in and just trial by fire, baby. Throw them into the lake, teach them how to swim they'll learn how to swim. You know what I mean? So, as for what QB, I have no damn idea who would be a good fit. But
Yeah. I think a guy with some mobility would be nice. Like a Jaden McDaniels or something, something like that.
yeah,
Maybe like a Bo Nix or something.
yeah. Well, it is a bummer. Like
that was a joke.
There's no
everybody.
Yeah. It is a bummer. There's no football in Seattle anymore. So that is kind of a bummer that we're done. Now we're back on the baseball, baby, and that's the best time of the year.
Gross.
Start doing Shmokin Hot Takes baseball edition. Just me talking into a mic for an hour.
Just you by yourself for that.
Me and Cal. All right. And then last games. This is probably biggest game of the week. Bills Dolphins. Bills taking on the Dolphins in Miami and winning this 21-14. And this was huge swing, huge implications on this because Bills, whoever won this was basically the 2 seed.
2 seed, yeah.
And the other was the 6.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say by the time the Bills played, they already knew they were in the playoffs. So this wasn't really a do or die sort of
Yeah.
situation we all kind of saw it as going into the week. But it
I
was
think
still
I think
had plenty of implications.
yeah, I think the whole storyline of the Bills have the chance to miss the playoffs this week. Everything would have had to go wrong for that to happen. I don't know what
Yeah.
the percentage likelihood of that was.
Right.
But like you said, it does have big implications. Now the Bills are the number 2 seed. The
Yeah, that's huge.
Dolphins are playing every game on the road. A team from Miami likes to play in the sun. Well, guess what? They're going to go play the Chiefs, and it's going to be 2 degrees outside.
Yeah. It's
So
gonna be almost negative
good
there.
good luck.
Crazy.
I don't think it's an overstatement. I guess I'll see where you guys go with your picks, but I don't think it's an overstatement to say that losing that game might have lost the Dolphins their season now. I
Sure.
don't think they have a chance going on the road. I don't think they have much of a chance this week against Kansas City, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big bummer, right? Because the Dolphins and I feel like of late they've been kind of plagued by injuries, most notably Jalen Waddle. Um,
hmm
but even Tyreek, the ankle was beat up. And Tua just hasn't really he it seems like that he always starts the season so hot. Like the Tua MVP was looking good for like the first 2 months of the season and I remember this because I was letting you guys know about it if you weren't hearing it from anywhere else.
That's
Because
right.
that's why I
Yeah.
declared. Which is also why I still think Tua should be in the MVP conversation because for the first 2 months of the season, he was still playing like an MVP. But just because he's not for the
Yeah.
last 2 months
Man,
doesn't negate the conversation.
I wish I had that soundboard going right now. You just flew in from Stupid Town.
Yeah,
Okay, but
I had I was gonna say I have some stats on it like to go along with what you're saying, Prophet J. The Dolphins, I mean, yeah, go back to the first couple of months. They're setting all kinds of records offensively. In the last game of the year, a game in which they had to win, they only scored one offensive touchdown. Like just like the parity of, just um the difference there is huge. And then Tua, he's had 2 interceptions in each of the last 2 games. He hasn't had a 300-yard passing game for 7 straight games. He's just not. They're just not what they were at the start of the year, and without that dynamic offense, they're just kind of an average team at best, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
the defense stepped up, but not enough to cover up kind of the missteps that the offense has had lately. So, and just the momentum that they have, I feel like it's so
So
negative. It's
maybe a
it's not
smoking hot
with
take.
them.
I don't actually think it is anymore. People are kind of on this train a while ago. I think if Tua was replaced with a better quarterback, this team would actually be pretty dang good. I don't think
Well,
Tua's
you'd
there
think that they
yet.
have the pieces, but so
Yeah.
you're on the Brian Flores train of get
Yeah.
Tua out of here. This guy
Tua's not that
sucks.
guy, man. I mean, he's got the nickname Tua turned the ball over for a reason, right? He throws two this last week, and just it doesn't look like a dude. He throws floaters. I mean, the whole narrative starts to creep back out when these type of games keep happening to him. I don't think he's a bad quarterback, but I just don't think he's a dude that can take him all the way. You know?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm on the train of getting rid of Tua because I mean I just think he needs to figure it out. I think what happens is probably offenses or defenses adapt to him, and then as the season prolongs,
He
then
just doesn't have a
he's
good
just
ball.
not
I
it.
don't think. I don't know. Like I
I
think
could catch his balls.
from saying like from watching Penix this whole season, I know it's college versus NFL. It's another lefty quarterback, and I think people would say, "Oh, you're like a lefty when that motion, it looks slower coming out of his hands." If you were to mirror it, I've seen mirror videos of Tua where it does look faster. I just think Penix just slings the ball a lot harder than Tua
He,
does.
yes, Penix
Um,
chucks it. Yeah.
as a lefty, if that makes sense. But it just seems like Tua doesn't have that arm strength. I mean, and we said that too. It's like Tyreek's like, oh, put anybody out there throwing me the ball and I'm gonna catch it. So if he's saying that, I would say Tua's just a little bit better than anybody, you know. And we need somebody
So you think I
not
could go
elite, but
be a quarterback on the Dolphins, huh?
no. The Dolphins just need a better quarterback to get them
But
further.
realistically, though, Tua, he's good enough. Like you see this in the NFL a lot, where like you have a quarterback who your eyes tell you this guy's not going to take you to the Super Bowl. But he also puts up numbers, and it's like, well, this guy, he's not bad enough where we're going to go searching. There's a lot of
Right.
teams that are in quarterback purgatory. For a long time, I may have thought the Cowboys were in maybe purgatory, maybe not so much after this year, but
Sure.
you
That's fair.
you see that a lot, and so I don't think Tua's going anywhere anytime soon.
So you guys do agree with Cam Newton then? Because he called Tua a game manager. Do you think it's just a game manager?
I don't know. I don't think he fits that definition in my eyes,
No,
but
I think he's not bad enough to get rid of, but he's not good enough to get him very
yeah.
far.
To me, that's not the definition of game manager, but like he is like,
Right.
I don't know.
Who's a game manager, K Dog?
Probably
Brock
Brock
Purdy?
Purdy.
No, he deserves better than that.
Geno
I would say
Smith?
like Gardner Minshew,
Gardner
Minshew.
Minshew's a
maybe,
backup. I don't know if I'd classify
like
him.
you don't think he's a starting caliber. I mean, Geno
Maybe
Smith last year was a game manager.
No way. Oh, that
Last
makes me
year,
so
he
mad.
I don't
fits
think a
that
game
like
manager has the highest completion percentage in the NFL.
What a
when
trash
a
take.
game manager is throwing a bunch of short, easy passes
That's
to
not what he
get a
was
high
doing.
completion
If you'd ever
percentage.
K
watched the
Dog is
Seahawks game.
not watching the games. He's blowing
I
too
know you
much.
watched the Seahawks versus the
I
Cowboys,
think,
and you saw him dicing you
um,
guys up then.
yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, I don't
K
know.
Dog, what else you
Fine.
got to pull out from your ass, bro?
Well, I'll tell you what I pulled out from my ass at the start of the year, telling you guys Geno Smith was not going to do anything with you guys, that he was a mediocre quarterback. You would have thought that was just crazy at the beginning of the year.
I think we both said he has to prove it again. Like I think that last year was pretty obvious it was going to be like this year would be a prove it type of year for him. That's the type of contract he signed with us. It's all incentive based. We knew he had to prove it to get the money. So that's what we expected out of him. And the fact that he didn't live up to that, I'm not surprised.
But hey, we're not paying him an extra, I think it's $1
I
million, $2
seem to
million to make
remember.
the playoffs.
I seem to remember him being in a top 10 quarterback list, if not
Hey, you
two.
know what, K Dog? How about you go and find that clip, and then
Weird.
you can snip it and put it on our Instagram, huh?
I will. I'll work on that.
I mean, to be fair, we only had 1 year to go with Geno. I mean, you could still expect maybe a small regression, but there was no evidence otherwise that would think he'd take such a step backwards.
I would say his entire career was
Yeah, I
evidence
was
of
gonna say, I'd say
that.
like the 10 years
That's
before
because you
that.
just never got the
was
chance,
enough.
baby. You never got the chance. All right, we're done with this. All right, we're getting out of here. You guys have anything else to say about any other teams that are not in the
No.
playoffs? Or are you done?
No.
You never
No,
want to
we're
talk
not
about them
talking about it.
ever again until some crazy shit
Until
happens
next
where they get a
season.
trade or something like that.
Yeah. No more talking about duds like the Bears, Panthers, Seahawks. We don't have to talk about them anymore.
All right.
We'll keep talking about the Giants once in a while.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
All right, let's move forward. Let's talk about the wild card. So these are the games that are happening this weekend, people. This weekend we got football back.
Well, wait. I have one more thing that we're skipping over. We didn't do our final season standings.
Oh shoot!
We talked about it all year. We got to talk about it. So entering this week, Coop had an outside chance of getting the first place. It was mathematically possible. Unfortunately, it did not fall that way. We ended our ending standings, final standings. In third place, we have Prophet J at 158 and 114. Coop in second place at 163 and 109.
Not bad.
And myself at 169 and 103. So 6 above Coop at 62% on the year. Now, if you guys are curious, if you were to pick every single favorite this year,
yep.
straight up, you would have gotten it right 68% of the time.
Wow.
And I won at 62%. So we were overthinking it a bit, guys. But it's more fun that way, of course.
Yeah, we're smoking on takes. We're not pick the favorite takes.
So Prophet K Dog, how do you feel having the Prophet title now?
Well, it feels good. I would say after looking up that stat that I was below just picking the favorites every time. That doesn't feel so good. Significantly below, 6% below.
I mean, Vegas knows.
I would like to do the math, although it would be way too much work. I'd like to do the math if I had taken my picks taken money line on every single one of those, would I have positive
Right.
money? I'd like to know that, but the answer is probably no.
It's probably
But,
no because of the extreme odds that there
yeah,
are for the.
it's probably no, but I'd be curious what that was. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna look at it all new with our playoff brackets, so see who
We're
picks.
That's right.
resetting. I'm never gonna
Yeah.
remember any of these week 18 or weeks 1 through 18 picks. Who won? Not K Dog. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. It's out of
I'll,
mind.
I'll
Out
Hey,
of sight,
remember.
out of
Don't
mind.
worry, I'll remember.
got to give you props,
I'll
K Dog.
remember.
I mean, it's a long season, and to be honest, up until
He's
this last week,
consistent.
we were all really close. And we did finish really close to each other. I think still, even though the disparity between Prophet, K Dog, and Jay was kind of large towards the end. I think up until
Yeah,
that moment, we were all sticking together.
we
So
were, and I'm glad you mentioned that. We there were talks of handing off the profit title to the winner of this, so
I never
that's
there'll be
right.
agreed to this.
internal.
We're
I'd have
not
to have
doing
some
that.
internal discussions about that one.
Yeah, we'll see.
Prophet K Dog has a nice ring to it.
I like
Does
it.
it?
I
I think
like
it's a
it.
couple too many syllables. I think you should not keep
We call
that.
him Prophet K
No, because then you're that could be confused with you, and God knows you're not a prophet.
more than you, buddy.
Well, you guys just wait after playoffs here, because I'm taking it back, baby. All right.
No,
Are we gonna do wild card picks? Should we look at our preseason playoff picks before that, or
So let's
what
run
order
through
are
the
we going?
standings, and then let's talk about what we
Okay.
said would happen versus. So on the AFC side, the Ravens finished with the bye and home field advantage, and then the Bills were the number 2 seed. They have a home field advantage. Chiefs 3 home field advantage. Texans are at the 4 with that win over the Colts. They won the AFC South. And then sneaking in the last 3 wild cards, we got the Browns with Joe Flacco, the Dolphins, who are knocked all the way down from the 2 seed to the 6, and then the Steelers squeaking in from the Jaguars' loss. So a lot of shifting in that last week in the AFC side. And then over on the NFC, we have the Niners with the home field advantage and the bye. And then we have K-Dog's boys
Woo!
with the 2 seed and the home field advantage. Not which they should not have the 2 seed. It should be this next team, the Lions. And then we got the Bucks
right.
taking it on in the NFC, the nastiness of the NFC South. Did they finish 8? Was it 8-9 that they finished? Or
9-8.
9-8?
They were
Okay.
9-8.
All right. And then we got the Eagles, the fraud Eagles, at 5, going to the Bucks. And then the LA Rams, I think the team that very few people predicted
Crazy, especially
would
with
make
that
the
start in the
playoffs.
beginning.
Yeah. They snuck in at 6. And then maybe even more crazy, I don't know what teams or what people would have picked, the Packers, Jordan Love,
Mm-hmm.
to sneak in at the last in the 7th spot. Taking on the boys. So, K-Dog, what did we predict before the season even started? How close were we?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna rewind all the way back to probably late August.
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone was listening back then. We did our little preseason playoff predictions. We won't run through the brackets right now. That's just too much. And honestly, with our playoff picks, that would just be a waste of time. We did okay across the board. Got about half of the playoff teams correct.
Nice.
There was just so much, um, so many unpredictable things that happened this year, especially in terms of injuries.
Yeah.
Um, so I think all of us, let's see, so all of us picked 3 out of 7 in the AFC, and then Coop and myself had 4 out of 7 in the NFC, while Prophet J had 3 out of 7.
Ooh,
Damn
you mean
Giants.
just
Um,
Jay, right?
oh yeah, just J, right? Uh, and then so I mean, looking at some trends here, so we all picked the Vikings and Saints to win their respective divisions. They
Yikes.
both missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
On the AFC side, we all picked the Jaguars and Jets to win their division. Uh, or excuse
Oh,
me,
no.
actually, Coop had the Bills winning the division. I take that back. But we all had the Jaguars and Jets making the playoffs.
Coop didn't even
Um,
know he had the Bills winning
I
based off
didn't.
that
no
face.
one, no one picked the Lions to win the division, although we did have them all making the playoffs. No one picked the Bucks to win the division or make the playoffs. Um, let's see. Out of all, so this one, I said this before the pod, but I mean, we all picked 14 teams times 3 out of 42 spots that we chose. We only got one team seated in the right spot of all those picks, and that was me
Yikes.
picking the 49ers at the 1 seed, which to me was the most obvious pick of all. Maybe not to you guys.
Well, Homer. Come on, you gotta give the Homer bias. Okay.
Fair. On the AFC side, speaking of the 1 seed, Coop and I had the Ravens at the 7 seed, and Jay had the Ravens missing the playoffs. So a lot of disrespect
Ooh,
there.
come on,
Okay.
guy.
Well, to be fair,
Yikes,
you
buddy.
guys had them at 7, so that's not that far off from not making it.
You just voted for
And
stupid stuff?
at least I have been consistent all season long. I've been trashing the Ravens. I'm the Stephen A. Smith
True,
of
you
the
didn't
Ravens.
stray.
That doesn't
That's
matter.
fair.
Even when they're playing lights out and Lamar's an MVP
Dude.
season, you're trashing. You just
You know
sound
what, Coop?
stupid when you say that.
You know what, stupid Coop? You know what you've been
What?
telling? You have been telling me that I have so much recency bias. But you know who has recency bias? The rest of America thinking that Lamar is MVP when all he's done is had 2 great,
You're
actually
still
one
on this, bro.
one great game. It's crazy to me
All right, can you back
that
that up with some statistics?
sure, next pod I'll have a whole presentation.
Oh, the next pod.
We
Well,
need
I don't
like
have it on.
a
I don't have it on me. I don't have it on top.
we need
Well, you
a
can't
quick
just
like
come out and say he's
10-minute presentation
yeah. You
on
can't
this.
just come out
Maybe
and
I'll
say,
do a
"Oh, he's
I'll
had
do
a
a
bad
separate
season up until the last 2
a separate
games."
episode.
and then-
Prophet J tells you why Lamar Jackson should not be MVP.
Alright.
Okay, was that
I'm
the
looking
end of
forward to it.
your
I
breakdown?
have a couple more points. We were all unanimous on picking the Bengals and Seahawks to make the playoffs. They missed it, of course. But I want to highlight probably the worst, what I thought was the worst pick at the start of the year, and what I think is still the worst pick at the end of the year. We have Prophet J picking the Giants to make the playoffs over
Okay,
the Cowboys. Yeah, the Giants making it at the 7th seed, the Cowboys missing it. I thought it was ridiculous at the time, and I don't feel any differently
hey,
now.
hey,
In fact, it might
somebody's
even
got
be
to.
more crazy.
You know what? One, the Giants won a playoff game last year. They deserve a little. I thought they deserved a little bit of credit. 2, nobody would have expected them to have a fall off as significant as they did. Daniel Jones also was hurt, so that plays into it.
It's more likely for the Giants to have a fall off than the Cowboys.
3, I lost my
Glossing
train
over
of
that,
thought. I
all
lost
right.
my train of thought with you jumping in
There
there.
probably wasn't a third point to make.
No, there was a third point, K Dog, you goofball.
Anyway, that's the
Yeah,
breakdown. So,
look, man, the Giants. I might have them making the playoffs again next year. Who knows? I was just really living,
Please do.
and I
Hey,
still,
I mean-
I still am, because you know what? Here's the thing, guys. If we want to be called cold, let's call the most popular takes. We could do that. We could be that podcast. I'm not.
Just say icy cold takes or something.
I'm calling Shmokin hot takes here. That was back, especially back in August. I think I was thinking about these while I was sipping on a beer at Fremont Brewery. So maybe I was a little bit induced with a nice, tasty IPA.
Maybe.
But you know what?
No.
That's all good, man. Smoking hot takes. So, you know what?
Smoking.
I win the award. You know what? If you don't want to call me Prof anymore, that's fine. Call me Smoking J.
All right.
No,
Smoker.
I can do that. Rebrand.
no rebrands. All right. Should we go through our playoff preview now, fellas?
Yeah, let's do it.
So from my understanding, because we're going to announce our full playoff bracket later, we're just announcing the winner of each individual wildcard game, and we will hold off on the remainder of the bracket until after this segment.
Correct.
Yeah,
Great.
that sounds good.
All right, cool. All right, first game, Texans at home taking on Joe Flacco, Myles Garrett, and the Browns. And the Browns, 2.5 point favorites with an over-under of 44.5. This is a rematch too, right? From just a couple weeks ago, I think, which was also in Houston. And I think the Browns won that game as well, right?
The Browns won 36-22. And
to be
even
fair,
that's a little
though,
misleading. They were up
yeah,
28-7 going into the fourth quarter,
No
and
Stroud
then
though that
Texans.
game, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
Davis
no
Mills.
Stroud. That is the key. Yeah, Davis Mills. Yeah. But the Browns pretty much blew them out. So obviously, CJ Stroud is a big difference maker. But
Yeah,
And they're a
I
little
don't.
healthier now. Like they did also, I guess they had Nico Collins then too. So I guess it's about the same, right? Um, I mean, how do you guys see this game going?
K-Dog, how about you take it away, buddy?
Sure. I mean, this is a tough one. I read somewhere people were saying like sucks that these two teams are playing each other right off the bat because they're kind of two teams we'd like to see in the playoffs, kind of some like dark horse teams. It's sad
Yeah.
that one's going to be eliminated right away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just look at that Browns defense. It's just like it's the number one defense in the league to end the year, in terms of yards, the number one passing defense in terms of yards. And
Right.
simply that the Texans just haven't really, ever since losing Tank Dell, CJ Stroud getting injured, they just haven't really been that explosive on offense as we saw maybe the first half of the year. And so I think they might struggle there, a bit against this defense. I think as long as the Browns kind of, I mean, Joe Flacco has been known to turn the ball over a lot. We talked so much about his success, but that would be his one downside. So as long as he can take care of the ball, I think the Browns pull this one off. But it's kind of a tough one. I'm curious where you guys go.
Yeah, this was definitely one of the tougher ones for me to pick. I actually, I ended up picking all these games, and I was like, wait, I need to look a little deeper into this. And then I looked at each game or each team's individual defensive rankings, pass and rush, and I saw, like you had said, Cleveland Browns have the number one passing defense against a Houston team with a rookie quarterback and missing a lot of weapons. I think that's going to be key. And their rush defense is actually really good too. It's almost top 10. It's number 11. Um, as much as Houston's uh, kind of sharpened up their defense, their passing defense is still bottom of the league. So I think as long as Amari Cooper's back, which I assume he will be, I think Flacco's not going to have too much trouble against the Houston D passing. And I just see that defense just kind of dictating the game. Like you said, he's going to turn over the ball maybe once or twice, but as long as that Cleveland D is on the field, I think the Browns are always going to have a chance. So I got the Browns.
Yeah, so I kind of think the moment's a little too big for
Yeah.
CJ Stroud right now
Yeah.
and D'Amico Ryans. Like, honestly, Cinderella year. Who predicted the Texans to make the playoffs? Not me. None of us did.
Right.
To win their division, first year with a first year QB, first year head coach. And a lot of young pieces on the defensive end, on the receiving end too. But with the defense, with the rush attack, which I kind of hope the Browns will implement a little more, but honestly, even through the air, like Joe Flacco is going to throw 2 picks, but also he's going to throw you 3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be enough because the defense keeps them in games. And I just think it's gonna be, I think, an ugly game, honestly. Like the Lions 2.5. I don't know if I agree with that. I think the Browns are winning by more than that, personally. Especially like they're gonna come prepared to play. Like Joe Flacco, he's been in the league for so long. And when he gets to the playoffs, he's done pretty darn well. I saw some stat, I think
Yeah,
he was
man.
undefeated in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs.
Wow.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like the dude's just a
Mhm.
winner. And I don't think that streak's going to an end against this first year head coach and quarterback in CJ Stroud. So give me the Browns.
Wow.
Nice.
3 for 3
we're
on the
all
Browns.
we're all in alignment there. Yeah. So this next one was actually tougher for me. And this is the Chiefs Dolphins. Chiefs are the 4-point home favorite. The over-under is 44.5. And it is going to be, as K-Dog alluded to earlier, I think it's going to be actually -5 degrees
Okay, maybe
in
that's
Kansas
changed.
City
Yeah, that's wow.
at the time of this game. So I feel like, and this is also exclusively on Peacock. They've been really
Wow.
NBC's been saying that a lot lately, so I thought I'd get it in there.
Not a sponsor.
Not sponsored, but could be if they want to be. 5 o'clock on Saturday. And the reason why this was tough for me, because I was thinking about it, -5 degrees, right? Like the passing attack might not really be there. And who's more dependent on the passing attack? Well, I think we can all agree it's probably the Dolphins. But also, who has the better run game right now between the Dolphins and the Chiefs? And that's where I had some really hard times figuring out, do I like Achan and like Jeff Wilson? Because I think looks like Mostert's not playing this game. Or do I like really Pacheco, McKinnon? Kelsey's obviously not in the rush attack, but Kelsey's kind of, they'll be probably doing a lot more short passes, which gets Kelsey involved more. And so I went back and forth a lot. I actually had the Dolphins winning this game before I hopped onto the pod. And then I switched. I'm going with the Chiefs.
Traitor.
I also felt weird going against the Chiefs at home. The Golden Boys, it doesn't feel right for them to lose a home playoff game, especially in the wild card. This team is more. I could honestly see this narrative of Patrick Mahomes' first or worst season of his career, and then kind of goes on a little bit of a run.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean those wide receivers in the Chiefs, like in the limited times we're throwing, they're going to need to step it up because the ball is going to be a literal rock being thrown, and it's going to hurt. But they better hold on to that damn thing.
Nice. Yeah, I kind of see it the same way. I mean, we've already seen this matchup before in Germany. I just think Kansas City's defense is too good for Tua. I mean, I kind of shit on him earlier on. I just don't think he's the quarterback that can get them far in the playoffs. And, Mahomes been there, done that, won 2 Super Bowls already. He knows what he's going to have to do to get his team to the next stage. And I think they're really going to implement Travis Kelce. I mean, he's kind of fallen off towards the end of the season. Get it back to your key weapons. And then, like you said, you don't have Mostert. You got a rookie running back in Achane who's going to be taking the rock mostly. Jalen Waddle probably going to be, if he plays, he's not going to be 100%. And then I think Andy Reid's going to be able to scheme out Tyreek Hill enough. So I'm going to take KC at home, -4-degree weather with Taylor Swift in the stands. Of course,
She'll be keeping Kelsey warm up until the game. Also, did you see Kelsey had a hickey during his last game? Oh, that was kind of funny.
God, dude.
We're in our mid-30s, people. Why are we still doing that?
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just
This is kind of weird. All right, K-Dog, what you got?
we should be showing off.
Yeah, I mean, this one was pretty easy for me. I have the Chiefs. I mean, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, but I'm going to focus on Patrick Mahomes. He has had unprecedented success in the playoffs, making at least the AFC Championship every single year he started. He's probably the most comfortable player with the playoffs in the entire league. I mean, he knows how to win. He knows how to play in these big games. There's just no way he's losing a wild card game at home, especially to kind of a reeling Dolphins team. Hasn't shown that they can beat good teams, let alone in -degree weather.
Right.
We talk about the run game not having Mostert, I think is a big deal. And Pacheco in his last game, I'm going to pass over the Chargers game. I don't know if he even played in that one, but against the Bengals the week before, he looked amazing that game. I think the Chiefs are going to be able to lean on that run game, short pass game, trust the defense against that Dolphins offense in this weather. I don't see this being close, really. I mean, I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I just don't really see a scenario where the Dolphins are really being that competitive this game.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it looks like there's not going to be any snow during the game, which I was hoping for. It'd be fun. But yeah, so dang. Smoking cold takes so far. All right, and I don't think it's going to change on this next one. Bills versus Steelers in Buffalo. Bills 10-point favorite, 36.5 over under. I'll jump in. I think it's pretty easy on this one. If you don't got TJ Watt, you don't got a snowball's chance in hell to win this game. So give me the Bills. I think this is a lock This is a lock.
Yeah. I'll jump right back in and say I got the Bills too. I'm jumping through a table for these guys. And
How about a table on fire? Did you see that?
oh, maybe. It's funny that looking at these defensive stats, I think we all kind of maybe. I mean, I think the Bills' defense definitely got depleted, maybe towards the middle of the season or something. But they definitely kind of bounced back, and they're really in the top half of the league now. Passing, they got the 7th best defense, and then rushing's 15th. So that's pretty dang good for where they had been with all those injuries. But like you said, T.J. Watt's going to be out. You got Mason Rudolph. I mean, enough said about that. George Pickens probably going to somehow have like a 150-yard game because I hate the guy and he's doing that to me.
But he doesn't affect you anymore, right? He can't hurt you anymore.
I still hate him. Doesn't matter. I just don't want him to succeed at all. But yeah, I got the Bills, and I think we can all just see this being a pretty big blowout in my mind.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the biggest line of the week. Last I checked, I think it's Bills by 10.
Yep, it is.
The one thing I will say, you said the Steelers don't have a snowball's chance. Well, last I checked, there is going to be snow this game. It's going to be cold. Might have a little snow. That does kind of throw a little wild card into it, right? I mean, the Steelers, if they're going to somehow win this game, something weird is going to have to happen.
Sure.
So if it turns out to be a snowy game, then Bills that favors the Steelers, no question.
Yeah. Well,
that being said, though, I mean, these two teams just don't match it. They don't feel like. I mean, the Steelers just don't feel like a playoff team, and the Bills might be my pick to go to the Super Bowl. We'll see, but
don't you guys like the one thing that scares about me though is that the Bills like play up and down. I don't like you guys are saying it's a blowout. I don't know if I see it as like a. I think they're going to win. I don't know if I see it as a blowout. Like I think this might be their toughest game of the next couple of weeks. I don't think it's going to be like a freebie. Honestly, we're disrespecting Mason Rudolph. It doesn't look that bad.
He just ain't that bad.
I did see the Steelers. They finished with a winning record this year. Obviously, they still, despite that, they had a negative point differential.
Wow.
And they've done that each of the last 3 years. They've had a winning record, negative point differential, which is crazy.
I wonder what that means. Probably means they have a really good head coach that might be considered better than Bill Belichick. Crazy.
Yeah,
it's funny. I was actually talking to somebody about that yesterday, and they actually agreed with me. Actually, a couple people agreed with me.
Okay. Where did you pull that from?
The people I had conversations with.
Are these people yourself in the mirror?
It's not my alter ego, and it's not my cat.
Whatever. We need to get them on the pod.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
All right. You guys want to move on?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
K-Dog, you want to lead this one? All right,
the
Cowboys.
Oh, we got the Cowboys. So we've probably gone an hour. We haven't even said a word about the Cowboys, which is just a shame. This game, I just want to say a little blurb about the Cowboys to start, kind of overarching going into the playoffs. I mean, you guys, like, the Cowboys, they have a reputation for choking in the playoffs. You guys know that. We all know
do
that.
they? I actually didn't know that. Why do they have a reputation for choking?
Rightfully so. Like, I can't really defend that. So they have a very unfortunate NFL record. So ever since they won the Super Bowl in 1995, this will be their 13th playoff appearance without having, well, they have a chance this year, but without having reached the conference championship. 12 tries prior to this have not reached the conference championship. That's an NFL record. So that is great reason. The evidence shows they do choke, but I think this year is different. Not because I think this is the best team they've had in that span, although I do think it's a very good team. But it's the easiest path they've, maybe for that entire span, maybe as long as I've been alive, it's their easiest path, and let me explain why.
To the Super Bowl?
To the conference championship. Championship. Because you played the Packers this week.
And then you're going to play the Rams.
No, they can't play the Rams if they win. They play either the Eagles, Buccaneers, Lions.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll take that all day. And both games will be at home. They're 8-0 at
Sounds like you were
home.
kind of scared about the Rams when I said that.
I'd be more scared about them than some of those teams, yeah. But yeah, they're 8-0 at home. They average almost 40 points at home. Uh, I just forget about this. When they match up, if they match up against the 49ers in the conference championship, all bets are off. I'm not going to feel very good about that. I'd
Sure.
just be happy to be there, honestly. Um,
Nice.
but anyway, back to this. So that's me prefacing. I feel really good about this playoff, as good as I felt in a while. This game, it worries me a little bit. I was disappointed. I was actually rooting for the Seahawks to make the playoffs because I would not only would I just like to get together with you guys and watch that game. I think it would be a better matchup for the Cowboys. I'm a little worried about the Packers offense. Aaron Jones is healthy, which has been the Cowboys' Achilles heel, defending the run.
Hmm.
Jordan Love actually looked really good this year, Although
Yeah.
I think his stats, if you look at some of his splits and like wins versus losses, he tends to pile on the stats in games the Packers run away with, which maybe is self-fulfilling. Maybe all players do that, but he kind of struggle. There's been games where he does struggle in, and so I kind of think that the Cowboys defense will be able to force him into mistakes, get pressure on him, and then the Cowboys offense. I don't think if this season has been any indication, I don't think they have any problem scoring points at home. And so I think that's the difference there. I think you guys. I am anticipating you guys making an argument for the Packers upset. I hear it. It's the playoffs. I recognize anything can happen. Nothing's a shoe-in except for maybe the Bills Steelers. But I feel good about it. This is great. We're playing the 7th seed at home. I feel great. Cowboys are winning.
Nice. Yeah, I don't blame you for feeling that way, to be honest. And I'm right there with you. I got Dallas too. I just don't see any real. I mean, you can make the argument, like you're saying, for Green Bay to win, but I mean, Dallas just looks good, and I don't know. I just feel like that's enough said. You're at home. You're playing a team that barely snuck in while you were kind of not coasting in, but you were kind of cementing your place in the top of the league and taking that momentum into the playoffs doing it. So I don't see any reason why Dallas should lose
Yeah.
this game.
Let's not forget too. This is a Mike McCarthy revenge game against
Oh,
the
I was gonna
43.
say that. Damn it! You stole that from me. But isn't it just funny, K Dog, how you open up your monologue with, I felt this way other years, but I think this is just gonna be a new year. It's just a new run. You've been saying that you've been saying that since 1990,
Since
whatever,
since
1991.
since the binky fell out of your mouth.
Yeah, I think I came out of the womb saying that, but I do think, like I said, it's a combination of the team being really good, which I think it is. They're not perfect by any means, but it's the path. Like this path is, if they can't win this, they might not give the NFC Championship game, but it'll be a shame if they don't. Like it's all in front of them. There's no excuse.
Yeah,
Um,
Yep.
yeah, I
so
hear you.
I don't know.
Well, you know how I was saying for the Texans Browns games that the moment is too big for CJ Stroud, for D'Amico Ryans. Do you guys think the moment's too big for Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur?
I hope to God you're saying Dak Prescott.
I think it's too big. I think the boys are going to win this game.
No.
Like, come on. I mean, I wanted to pick the Packers to the
I
dismay
know.
of K Dog, but I
Me
can't.
too.
Like, you can't.
Same.
Like, this game, honestly, this game is more, in my mind, is more open and shut than the Bills Steelers. Like, I
Uh,
see this being a bigger blowout. I mean, I came in last in the pick'em, so take my word as you will. But
sure.
I think the Steelers, I mean, even without TJ Watt, they still have a good defense. But the Cowboys are pretty well rounded, dare I say. So, and like you can't stop CD Lamb. The run game with the boys is still questionable. I think something's gonna need to change there if they ever want to win a ship. But
Ferguson.
look, the boys, I mean, they got a good squad. And I agree. I think when we were watching the game last night, I was running through kind of some playoff scenarios with with the boys, and I was like, they could take the Packers and the Rams, and then they get the Niners. Like that's pretty easy. That's basically a bye. It's basically a bye.
Well, they wouldn't
So
have the Rams, though.
well, if the that's true. Well, then the Bucks or the Eagles. And
Gosh, darn these lower seating.
honestly, the
changes.
Bucks or the Eagles, and I would rather have the Bucks or the Eagles than the Rams.
True.
Personally.
I would too.
Personally.
I would too.
So that's a fine option for me if I were on a team.
Yeah,
So,
it's
yeah,
like
give-
it's the playoffs. You're gonna play good teams. But, like,
yeah, give me the boys. That's fine. I mean,
couldn't ask for much better.
yeah, give me the boys in this one. I would love to take a different team, but not. This isn't my upset yet. Lions Rams.
Well,
Yeah, let's get into your upset then.
Lions Rams in Detroit. Lions -3. Over unders 51.5. What do you guys think?
If you're, who wants to go
You
on
guys
this
want me to
one?
go? All right. So
Sure.
this one, honestly, I think could be the closest game, and probably the best one in my mind. Like the Rams have a lot of great momentum. You know, Kyron Williams, Puka, Cooper Cup, Matthew Stafford. I mean, the offense has been clicking. It's been firing all cylinders. Really, like the last half of the season. Like you don't want to walk up against these Rams. And the defense, while I think a lot of people thought they just didn't, you know, outside of Aaron Donald, didn't really have much. It's really been tuned up. They've been tuned nicely. The offense is creative. And honestly, they've been in my top 10 for a long time. And I think they deserve a position in the top 10, and they have since like probably 5-6 weeks ago. And so they're a hard team to pick against for me. You know, the Lions on the other side, they've, you know, kind of bounced up and down in terms of how they've been playing. I mean, Jared Goff looked ugly for like a 3-week span, and the run game wasn't really getting going. But now we see Amon-Ra suddenly picking up and having these huge games, and that's clearly the difference maker. And, you know, at home, the Lions, Dan Campbell, biting kneecaps, maybe more. Pause. I'm taking the Lions in this one. Like it's hard for me to pick against them because I do see the Lions stepping up in the moment. Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl. Dan Campbell is the guy who I just feel like he has so much leadership and he has developed such a culture. I mean, hell, all of the coordinators are getting poached right now. Like that just goes to show like how good the staff is, how good the players are, how bought in they are. Like they should be not a dark horse, but a dark lion.
Nice. Love that.
So give me the Lions.
I love that. So I'm gonna jump in before Prophet K Dog can and say this is a reunion for Matthew Stafford and the Lions, and then Jared Goff and the Rams. So this is a huge narrative game. Like you said, it's in Detroit, at home for the Lions, and that Lions rushing defense is, I believe, number 2 in the nation. So Kyron Williams, I don't see him being totally like snuffed, putting up a goose egg or anything. I think he's going to still play a key part in this game, but he's not going to be having as big of games as he has coming down the stretch of the season. I do have the Lions here. Just winning it outright. It was one of those ones where it was tougher. I think Matthew Stafford and the boys he's got there are, Puka Nacua, Cooper Cup. Those guys are all still elite. So it's going to be a really good game. I could see this being a 3-point game for sure. But in the end, yeah, just got the Lions taking it. And considering who they'll play the next game, I think it's just setting up. If you want to say the NFL's rigged or there's script writers, Detroit has to win this game so they can play Dallas the next week.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, it's just
at home,
inevitable. It's inevitable
in Dallas. Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, it's just a rematch.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see that game. But sticking with this week, I mean, obviously Coop touched on it. Great storyline. I've heard people say the Stafford Goff trade may be one of the most even in NFL history. Both teams kind of got what they wanted. I will say, the Lions coming into this game, they're looking for their first playoff win since 1991, I believe. They're looking for their second ever of the Super Bowl era. They've had absolutely no success. I think the pressure is a little more on the Lions this game. I think the Rams kind of come in with nothing to lose. Goff and the Lions, I feel like kind of have something to prove. They built up these expectations where they don't want to be the same old Lions. looking at, you mentioned that the Lions are top of the league in rush defense. They're also bottom of the league in pass defense.
I did
So,
leave that.
and whereas the Rams are kind of, I know Kyron Williams has had a great year, but the Rams are pretty balanced on offense. They can kind of hit you both ways. I also think that Sean McVay is, to me, I know you guys love Dan Campbell. I think Sean McVay is a step above Dan Campbell. I think he's smarter. I think he's more strategic. I think Dan Campbell, after seeing that Cowboys game, after seeing some of the decisions he made, I don't have a lot of trust in him. You know. So in conclusion, I wanted to pick an upset this week, and I'm picking the Rams. I think they're gonna knock. I think they're gonna knock them out. I do think it's gonna be a close game. I just feel like I don't know. It's just one of those games where the Rams have nothing to play for. Sorry, not nothing to play for, but no pressure whatsoever. Um, there's upsets wild card weekend, and this is the one I'm choosing.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
I like
I
that.
I was very close to taking the Rams too. I mean, they kind of stack up like very similarly, so
Yeah.
it is kind of interesting. All right, let's go to our last game. This is Monday Night Football, baby. Bucks taking on the Eagles. The Bucks are the underdog at home. The Eagles have a 3-point favorite. Over under is 43.5. Coop, why don't you want to kick us off on this one?
Well, I gotta kick us off. Um, yeah, I'm just not gonna, jump around it. I'm just gonna outright take the Bucks. I think we all are gonna end up doing the same thing. We just can't trust the Eagles right now with how they've looked. I mean, we've got Jalen Hurts, dislocated middle finger. AJ Brown tweaked his knee, should be back. That's fine. And then Devontae Smith, I don't know his
So
status
I
at the
looked into a
moment.
lot of this. Like they're both still questionable, which isn't
Yeah.
very helpful. AJ Brown
Uh,
was I saw it was hopeful to play.
right.
Not a great
So
word. Not a great word.
the matchup here, looking at everything, Tampa Bay has a really good rush defense. You know, kind of frontline by Vita Vea, our boy. So any sort of running that's going to be trying to going on by Devontae Smith or Boston Scott, whoever they got back there at Gainwell, not going to happen. And then any passing game the Eagles were trying to do, if it's Marcus Mariota out there or even Jalen Hurts with his middle finger busted up, I don't think they're going to be really doing that much either. So yeah, I just got to pick Tampa Bay here. I know I was kind of alluding it last night to Niners fan 42069 that I might pick the Eagles, but
A new fan in our metaverse.
that's right. But yeah, I just can't do that here.
I'll jump in. Dog.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, so I already kind of spoiled the pick because I haven't taken an underdog yet. I got the Bucks. This is
Are they
one.
really an underdog though?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
by Vegas
I
standards,
know
they are.
Vegas says that, but
So, yeah, here's the weird thing with the Eagles, right? If we want to talk narratives and scripts and all that garbaggio, like that, I think everyone's kind of thinking, why are the Bucks the underdog here, right? Like it feels weird. So everyone's like, oh, let's take money line Bucks. So I could see a world in which like the Eagles win. I mean, they've been playing
yeah,
atrociously the last 5 or 6 weeks. Like they've been so fraudulent. They've lost to the Hawks. They lost to the boys. I mean, they lost to the Niners. It's
Giants.
all decent teams. Lost to the Giants, most notably. Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Let's go. See my Giants. You guys know what's up. You guys know what's up. They got to win. So wait, actually, hold on. Reverse that. Since the Giants beat a team that is in the playoffs, does that count like as like half a point?
No.
No. All right.
No.
Anyways, yeah, I think the Bucks like at home, like I was looking at Baker Mayfield stats. I know, gross, right? Like Baker Mayfield. Who wants to look at that guy? Like he's in prime time, he's actually not awful. His average QBR rating in his last 10 primetime games, I can't look it up because my mouse just died. It was 98, if I remember correctly, which isn't atrocious. And he's usually averaging about 2 tutties a game. So, like, I think this is going to be a low scoring affair, but I do believe that Baker Mayfield, with his awesome wide receivers and Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Rashad White, not a receiver, but a running back, I think they're going to look good. I mean, what do they have to worry about? Julio Jones is the wide receiver 1 for the Eagles. I wouldn't be worried about that. I could probably cover Julio Jones. I'm just as big as him.
Jesus.
So,
All right,
give me the
K-Dog.
Bucks.
All
Give me the
right.
Bucks.
I mean, you guys have touched the Eagles' collapse at the end of the year is well documented, been discussed over and over. I mean,
Especially in the
you look
NFC
at
East.
you look at a game against the Giants could not have gone any worse for the Eagles. Like I can't believe. I mean, so Jalen Hurts had 6 drives. They resulted in order a punt, fumble, downs, punt, interception. And they bench the entire offense. They're down 24-0, and then you know, just a disaster. Like that could not have gone any worse. I can't believe that. Um, but I do want to say the Buccaneers quietly have had not a very good end to the season. In week 17, they lost to the Saints pretty good, and then last week they beat the 2-15 Panthers 9-0. You can't walk away feeling too
To
good
be
about
fair,
that.
though,
Not even. Go ahead.
the Panthers' defense is actually not bad.
Their passing defense is really good.
Yeah. So
Well, I don't know. You don't score you don't score a touchdown in the last game of the season against the worst team in the league. I don't think that bodes too
it's
well.
not the worst defense in the league.
Or well, worst team, but I hear you. Look, I don't know why. I don't know how it's gonna happen, especially with the injuries. But I am picking the Eagles this game. I
Wow.
think
Wow.
I think there is a bit of a trap being laid that like the Eagles are
Yeah.
favorites or like, oh, this is easy, bet the Bucks money line, or even take the points. But
I get that.
I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna happen. I just have a feeling. I mean, the Eagles were in the Super Bowl last year, and it could be a case of like me with the Patriots, how they keep losing, but I'm like, no, they got it this time. They got it this time. Like, it could be a case
Right.
of that, and I just, I got the Eagles in this one.
Fair
Nice.
enough.
So it sounds like you guys, I'm sure you already noticed, but you guys picked every single game the same,
Yep.
and then I diverted with the Rams Eagles. So
Yeah, I think
it'll be interesting.
the next set of games will be the ones where
Yeah.
it changes.
I'm getting a little
upset
spicy. That's where the Shmokin and Shmokin J comes in.
turn.
Before we jump into that, so we just gave you guys all of our wild card winners. So what we're doing to celebrate the playoffs' first season of Shmokin' Hot Takes is we're creating a league in what's called the ESPN Pigskin Bracket Challenge. Does that sound right? I think that's right. And how this works is if you've ever done like a March Madness bracket before, you can, you pick each team who you think's going to win, and then they move forward, and then you get like a point or a couple points based on what round your winning pick is in. And then there's the standings, and the person with the most points at the end, which usually means they have the most right picks, wins. And so we're doing exactly that, except for the playoffs. And if you enter, all you have to do to enter is follow the Instagram page for Shmokin' Hot Takes. That's it. Easy peasy. If you already follow, you can enter in. Secondly, we're going to post the link to join in the ESPN Pigskin Bracket Challenge on Instagram. We'll post it in Spotify in the description of the episode. And all you have to do is click the link and name your bracket. You get one entry, and you're good to go. Or if you want, just go search up ESPN Pigskin Bracket Challenge and look up Shmokin' Hot Takes, just like it is, same spelling and everything like it is in our podcast and everywhere else. And it'll be a lot of fun. The winner, most points at the end, gets some merch, kind of similar to our last one that we did on Instagram. So you can either get your own design, or you can get something that's already out there because a lot of cool shit. So it should be a lot of fun. We're also, so us three are also included, plus C-Dubs if he wants to join in. We're also part of it. We can win this contest because we're going up against you guys. So see if you can beat us. See if you do better than us. See if you can take on Prophet K Dog in his infinite wisdom. He's gonna be barking at you. You guys have anything to say about this?
Nope.
I'm just excited about it. I've never done this before, so I'm excited. I hope a lot of people join. There's not a lot of time. Don't wait. I mean, the games
Yeah.
start on
Oh,
Saturday, so
yeah.
get on it.
Entries have to be in by game time before the first game starts. It's on Saturday, 1:30. Thank you, K Dog, for that. And then, yeah, not a lot of time. So get
Yeah.
in,
It'll only take
enter.
5 minutes if you want. You can just click through pretty easy. Or
Yeah.
you can put a few hours into it, like I'm sure Coop did.
That's right. Many hours.
Yeah. And with that, we're going to walk through our playoff bracket right here and now. Our division winner, or I guess our conference winners, our Super Bowl winners, divisional winners. How do you guys want to do this? Do you guys want to go like one game at a time? Or do you want
Yeah,
someone to
well,
walk through their bracket?
It's to every
think-
or yeah, I don't really know.
well, I was gonna say, I mean, maybe we do each conference and then leave the Super Bowl for the end. So we've already done wild card, obviously. So really, we only have
Yeah, let's do
3
that.
games from each conference to do. So I was thinking maybe we do it individually, or maybe we do divisional individually and then do championship. That makes sense. Like I just
Sure, K Dog.
contradicted
Why don't you
myself
start?
there.
We'll follow your lead, K Dog. Go ahead.
All right, yeah. Well, I'll just do two. I'll do my NFC divisional first. How about that? So my matchups are going to be different from your guys's. I have. Hold on. My matchups. I've got the. Wait, I'm sorry. I don't have this pulled up.
Come on.
It's embarrassing. I got the Eagles at the Cowboys. I have the Rams at the 49ers. I'll make this simple. I'm going favorites here. 49ers are beating the Rams, although I do think that's a dark horse where maybe the Rams could somehow do it, a divisional opponent. I do have the 49ers, and then I've got the Cowboys beating the Eagles at home to advance the NFC Championship. What do you guys got
You got
for NFC?
okay, I'll go ahead and go. So NFC divisional rounds, I got San Francisco taking on the Buccaneers. I think pretty easy to figure out who I'm going to pick there. I got the 49ers. And then I have Detroit rematch against the Cowboys, baby. And you know who I'm picking. I'm picking the Lions. Let's go. Let's bite some kneecaps. Let's get this game. We already won this matchup the first time, and we're going to take it back and get it on the record, baby. Let's go, Lions.
The script does feel good for that, doesn't it? Like it feels like it's just in the universe. Like it just should happen. Like, it's just
So you're
it's just there
predicting
to take it and grab it.
you're predicting the Lions make their first NFC Championship ever. I think
Let's get it.
that's pretty big.
It's got to happen
All right.
sometime, right?
So I have the same
I have a bad feeling you're gonna go the same way, Prophet J.
matchups as Coop. So I got the Bucks taking on the Niners. I also went the Niners way on that. I feel like some would start calling me a little too Shmokin. They'd call me too Shmokin Jay if I took the Bucks there. And then in the rematch of the Lions and Boys, you know I'm going with the script. You know who
Yeah,
I'm
baby.
taking. I'm taking Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, Jameer Gibbs, and David Montgomery, baby. Yeah, give me the Lions. I had to get an upset in already. Like, it just feels right. And K-Dog, let's be honest. The Boys, how are they not choking this game? Like, that's a bigger... The Boys shouldn't be worried about the Lions. They should be worried about themselves.
Yeah.
Like, they're pointing a gun at the Lions, and that gun is just going to explode in their hand.
I counter to that, yes, the Lions will be motivated coming into that game, but to me, take away that last sequence. Cowboys should have. There were a lot of opportunities for the Cowboys to play better that game. And the Cowboys have just been dominant at home. I know they weren't in that game, but every other game they have been. And I trust them here. I
Well,
trust them over the Lions.
you know what? They're not going to have Brad Allen and the boys for that.
No, they won't.
Brad Allen.
Um,
Brad Allen
I
and the
trust the
Brewski
Cowboys
Boys.
against the Lions. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'd like to see it, so then we don't have to have this stupid what if in the back of our heads.
Is it
for
stupid
the rest
though,
of our lives.
K-Dog? Is it stupid?
All right, let's
No
move on.
comment. No comment on that.
All right,
We did a
K-Dog,
championship?
AFC.
Oh, AFC divisional. Okay. So my matchups, I've got the Browns going against the Ravens and the Chiefs going against the Bills. I'll start with well, both of these are kind of interesting actually. I've been kind of hyping up the Browns all year, and I'm gonna ride with it. I think the
Wow,
Browns are beating the Ravens. Number one
nice.
seed of Ravens. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Ravens are the better team, clearly. Great defense. I mean, it's a battle of the two best defenses in the NFL. Lamar, all the talk about, all that Prophet Jay likes to shit on him, all the talk about maybe he doesn't deserve MVP. He also only has one playoff win to his career. I believe he's 1-3. Hasn't had a lot of success. I just think I don't know. Sometimes there's just these big upsets, and I think the Browns have what it takes, especially since they're interdivisional too. Um, I'm taking the Browns, and then in the other game, Bills Chiefs. Bills will be at home. I'm taking the Bills at this point. These teams have a lot of history in the playoffs. At this point, the Bills are the better team, and I don't think it's even that close, really, especially with the
Wow.
Chiefs going on the road.
I'm just looking ahead to your conference championship, the Browns versus the Bills. What an
Yeah,
interesting matchup that would be.
yeah. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and jump into mine. So I got the same matchups: Baltimore against Cleveland, Kansas City against Buffalo, and I got Baltimore beating Cleveland. When so they've played each other twice. They both got a win off each other. I don't know. I just like Lamar. Like you said, he's only got one playoff win under his belt. He just looks like a dude who's gonna get 2 or 3. I don't know. We'll see once we get into my bracket. But it just feels like his year. I know he already had an MVP type season before we actually played better, but he's also got a great offensive coordinator. You still got John Harbaugh, whose brother Jim Harbaugh just won a national championship. So maybe he's going to try to one up him this year and get a Super Bowl. Never know. But yeah, I just don't see. I mean, the narrative. I do like Joe Flacco coming back, beating the Baltimore Ravens. That'd be pretty sick. But Lamar just beats the narrative to me there. And then Kansas City against Buffalo, another kind of legendary matchup we've seen before, where it came down to overtime. Chiefs got the ball, went to score,
They
game
did get
over.
the balls. They got all the balls.
So I see Buffalo taking this game off them. I wish I could have said the Chiefs lost to the Dolphins earlier, but unfortunately the refs wouldn't allow that to happen. But I think the Buffalo Bills are going to be a little too much for them this late in the season.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, same matchups for me. Browns, Ravens, Chiefs, Bills. So Browns, Ravens. Will I continue to dunk on Lamar Jackson? If you call me anything, you call me consistent, baby. So give me the Browns.
Oh my God.
I'm
Hey,
taking the Browns.
Hey.
I love the storyline here. I love it. Like the NFL was cooking. Like they were smoking something when they came up with this because this is the fun one. I just think this defense, like they seem to just match up well against some of these interesting offensive schemes, and I see no differently here. Against Lamar, they're a team that's played him twice already, and I think they're going to come prepared and know how to handle the mobility of Lamar Jackson. And then if you handle the mobility, what else do you have? Not much to deal with, honestly. Not a lot. Through the air, sure, he might get you on a couple 10, 20-yard balls, but not a whole lot. And then guess what? Joe Flacco, air it out, baby. The one thing we do have to consider is Ravens defense is really, it's amazing. It's great. And so we're going to really have to see Joe Flacco is really going to need to ball out here. But you know what? As I said earlier, he's undefeated in the first and second round. And if he has to beat his own team, his own old team to do it, I guess it's just got to happen.
Statistics like those are always bound to end at some point, right?
Sure.
So
Where they couldn't. He could win. He could win this.
I know, but to keep writing those statistics, I feel like are more likely for them to end.
It's just part of my narrative.
Just like the Ravens, just like Lamar, he's only got one playoff game. Like that's a statistic I see ending because it just doesn't make sense for him to not win going forward. He's too good of a player, and Flacco to not lose the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, that just seems unsustainable.
I think Lamar belongs on the boys because he's kind of a consistent choker. All
I mean,
right.
he is but this was his best chance to
Yeah.
avenge
It's his
that.
best. I mean, honestly though, like with a lot of these any of these teams, this AFC route is kind of a gauntlet, much
Yeah.
compared to the NFC. So any team that pulls out of the AFC, I have an enormous amount of respect because these are some really, I think across the board, really great teams. Chiefs Bills in Buffalo. I want kind of the same rationale as you, Coop. I really wanted to pick against the Chiefs. I felt like I couldn't. And I honestly kind of am getting this weird vibe around the Bills that they could kind of just make this into a little bit of a run. Like they're starting to play these teams that are actually decent, and the Bills kind of get their shit together when they're playing against these really solid teams. Now, call the Chiefs solid? That's much, but solid enough, or at least more solid than like the Chargers, for example. So give me the Bills. I think Josh Allen's going to have a great game. And I think he's going to do well against this Kansas City Chiefs defense that, is good, but Josh Allen's going to take it by the reins, baby. He's going to run it home.
Nice.
So I got Browns, Bills. And I honestly, I was looking at that. I was like, this would be sick. This would be dope. I would love to see an AFC matchup between the Browns and the Bills. Because either team winning is honestly a win. I would love to see either team in the Super Bowl. That'd be sick.
Yeah, that would be an interesting. I don't think they played each other this year either, so it'd be interesting. Should we stick for that AFC Championship?
I say we go back.
Okay.
Bring it back to NFC.
He didn't want to knock the boys out so soon.
Yeah, well, we'll see what I choose here. I mean, this would be a huge matchup. Cowboys versus 49ers in the NFC Championship game. I mean, they played the last 2 years in the playoffs. 49ers beat them in the wild card, and they beat them in the divisional. And now this would be the championship. Could they do it 3 times? Many would say yes, they could, but I'm gonna go with the Cowboys on this one.
Oh boy.
Just because I don't want to eliminate them. That might mean I'm gonna lose our bracket challenge. I mean, realistically, if I'm going into this game, 49ers gonna be favored. I wouldn't feel that great about it. I'd mostly just be happy to have the chance,
Jesus.
I just think maybe the Cowboys could use all those prior losses as motivation and somehow pull this off. Maybe force Purdy to make some mistakes. It's possible. It's possible. So yeah, I don't want to see the 49ers. None of us want to see the 49ers in the Super Bowl. I'm sure you guys don't want to see the Cowboys either, but
what was the score when the Niners played the boys earlier this season, K-Dog?
oh, it wasn't close. It was not close.
So
Something
what
like
changes?
42 to 10. Well, it's a playoff, I guess would be my answer. I mean, their previous 2 playoff games, they were both close, albeit the 49ers won, but they were both 1-score games. And then another note on this too. I mean, you want to talk about the Cowboys choking the playoffs, which is true. 49ers, given all the success they've had under the Kyle Shanahan era, even going back to the Jim Harbaugh era, they've had a lot of playoff success, but it's always ended. It's ended every single year. They have a history of choking as well. Maybe someone's got to give here.
What a boring matchup we've seen so many times. I'm so glad I didn't pick the Cowboys to get this far because I got
This would be like the highest rated championship game ever. Everyone would watch this, dude.
I got the Lions playing the 49ers, and I think you guys might be privy to who I'm going to pick here. I got the Lions, baby. I got the Lions making the Super Bowl this year.
No, you
want to know why? You want to know why? Because I think the Lions have a good enough defense. We kind of saw it when the Ravens played the Niners. once you get Brock Purdy flustered, he makes a lot of mistakes. He ended up throwing, 4 interceptions that game? I think the Lions do have a defense that's capable. We got Aiden Hutchinson on the line. The only guy I know that is on that defense is Aiden Hutchinson, but he makes up for it. I just think they get him flustered, and I think Detroit's pretty balanced on both sides of the ball. Their offense is really good. They could run the ball. They could throw the ball. Like you said earlier, Jared Goff's been there before. He's been to the Super Bowl. And, Brock Purdy, he's still a young QB. He's going to be under the bright lights of a conference championship game. He's going to make mistakes. And, Detroit's fired up about that Dallas game a couple weeks ago, and they're just going to they're going to be coming off beating the Dallas Cowboys. So they're going to use that as fuel to get into the conference championship and then make that Super Bowl. Let's go.
Did Lions fan 42069, did he slip you something to make those picks, Scoop?
Not at
paid
all,
him
man.
off.
Not at all. Not at all.
I mean, if the Lions make the Super Bowl, obviously I'd much rather see them over the 49ers and Eagles and some of those teams, but they'd be going through the absolute gauntlet to get there. The Rams, Cowboys, 49ers. I mean, that's tough, but we'll see.
It's doable,
We'll
man.
see.
Okay, well, I got the 49ers and the Lions. That's the same matchup. I'm going a different route, though. If you want to talk about people that have already been there, like Jared Goff, like Brock Purdy's, he's kind of been there, too. He got there, not to the championship last year, or did he? He actually got to the championship, right? I think he did. K-Dog,
Then he got hurt,
you're
right?
an encyclopedia. Yeah, he got hurt.
Yep,
What are we-
and then
But
yeah.
I think
Against the
and
Eagles.
you remember the 49ers reaction when they lost that game? They were pissed. They were not happy. They were saying, we didn't have a QB, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? They're going to have a QB for this one. And they're going to be taking it home. Christian McCaffrey, even if they don't have a QB, Christian McCaffrey is going to take Brock Purdy, put him on his back, and run him into the end zone. Because that's what he can do.
That Detroit rushing defense is great. Number 2 in the nation.
Yeah, but the number 1 can't stop. No one can stop Christian McCaffrey. I don't care who you are. Christian McCaffrey had a great game against the Ravens.
He's also coming off a calf injury. Yes, it's going to be a couple weeks removed, but
he'll be fine. Give me the Niners. I mean, it's not like Kittle, Ayuk,
I'll take the
Debo,
free throw off you,
McCaffrey.
I mean, it's the obvious pick. I mean, most likely that will happen, but
Remember,
Yeah, that's-
picking the
that's
favorite,
that's why you play
68
the
winners,
game.
68% of the time,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, but it's
true,
called
true,
smoking
true.
hot takes, not icy cold takes, my friend.
Okay. All right.
Well, we already know
Try
he's
it out
not
of your
going to have him
mouth.
win it. We already know that they're losing the Super Bowl. Then there's no way you would choose that, right?
True.
Guess we'll find out, K-Dog. Let's go to your AFC matchup to see.
Yeah. Who do I got that one? Oh, I have Bills and Browns. So the Browns visiting the Bills. So the Browns, if they make the AFC Championship, that'd be a great story. Unfortunately, I think this is where the story ends. The Bills, they've been fighting for this for how many years now? 4 years, trying to get to the Super Bowl. I think they finally get over the hump here. I mean, they just, I think Josh Allen is able to find success against that defense, being the dual threat that he is. And I think the Bills defense at home could force Joe Flacco into making mistakes. And like I said, yeah, Cleveland would be a great story, but ultimately they're not a Super Bowl team. Yeah, I got the Bills winning.
Nice.
Well, I guess it's my turn. Man, what a matchup. Baltimore Ravens against the Buffalo Bills. I am actually taking the Bills in this game. It's kind of crazy. But I do, like you're kind of saying, I think the Bills have been through a lot. Just the fact, I think it's our own narrative that we built around Shmokin Hot Takes. It's like early on, we were like, the Bills are just stanky, man. There's something up with the Bills, blah, blah, blah. And then they just kind of turned it around and proved us wrong, at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Now they're number 2. They're number 2 seed and whatnot. They're looking primed to make a run. Their defense has really snapped back after all those injuries. I think Josh Allen is the type of QB that I am visualizing him holding up that trophy at the end of the season and, saying, we fought a lot to get here. We got here. I can just see it.
Yeah.
So I got him beating the Ravens in this game.
Yeah. I mean the Bills have essentially been in the playoffs since they were 6-6 in late November. They've had to win
Right.
every single game. Um,
Yeah.
they're definitely tested, but at the same time, maybe I mean, at a certain point, does that luck run out? I don't know.
Maybe.
You know what's wild is
I
the
think
Bills. I believe when they lost to the Broncos, they had like a 19% chance to make the playoffs, and here they are, the 2 seed. Um, so my matchup is also it's similar to K Dogs. It's Browns versus the Bills. And as much as I would like to put Joe Flacco in the Super Bowl, it's not going to happen. I'm taking Josh Allen. We all got the Bills making the SB, baby. And honestly, like they just kind of seem like that team. Like I'm like kind of flipped on them. We were calling them stanky. Now
Yeah.
I'm calling they're smelling sweet,
No, we're all kind of
sweet
sweet
and
on it.
nice. And they were. I mean, let's be fair. They were stanky at the start of the season. That was not a bad take. They were wrong. They
No.
were not good. They had a very, very weird middle season. But now they've turned it around. And look, Josh Allen, they fired their OC. Joe Brady, he stepped up. And the offensive scheme isn't hero ball. It's Josh Allen, taking the check
Right.
downs, getting James Cook more involved. Get some of like Khalil Shakir, getting him more
Yeah.
involved.
And I
So
just want to jump into they're gonna have to get Stephon Diggs going in this playoffs. He has been like nowhere to be seen, and they're still winning games. I kind of brought that up last week, but like if Stephon Diggs starts cooking, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs starts cooking again, like I feel like that's gonna be like put him ahead even further than where they're at now.
nice. So K Dog's got the boys versus the Bills. Coop has got the Lions versus the Bills. And I have the Niners versus the Bills. This is
Kind of crazy.
exciting.
We all got the Bills.
I like that. I wasn't expecting that. I thought you guys were
I
going to
didn't
snub
either.
the Bills, to be honest.
My OG, I did this bracket a couple times. I did have the Ravens actually. Ended up being in the Super Bowl, but
Yeah,
something I don't know. There's something about
I'm
it.
a bit
Something about the
I'm
Bills.
a bit worried that all the listeners are gonna do our bracket challenge, pick the Ravens, and then just leave us in the dust.
True. I
That's
didn't
But
even
fine.
think
That's fine. Let them. They'll be wrong. All right. Do you guys want to do Super Bowl?
yeah. Let's go, K Dog.
you guys know where I'm going. I didn't take him. I
Oh
didn't take them this. I didn't take him this far to have him lose.
No way.
I mean,
Wow.
it defies all logic. I mean, we watched the Cowboys Bills together about a month ago. Horrible game.
yeah.
But you know what? If they make it that far, if they beat the 49ers, something must be going right. And I'm just gonna pick them. I'm picking the Cowboys. Uh,
Taking the
yeah,
boys.
I'm going for it.
I like it.
It
If
doesn't, like I said, it doesn't make sense. Like, because I mean, I have beating the 49ers and Bills to do that. Two teams that they got blown out
yeah,
by in the regular season, so that'll be a tall task. But
yeah, I don't fault you at all because like, if the Seahawks had snuck in instead of the Packers, I wouldn't have picked them to go very far. But if they had had a season like Dallas has, they're the number 2 seed in the NFC, I do think I would have probably taken them all the way, just like you're taking the boys. It's just, I mean, it's a homer pick, but it's also, hey, this team actually has proven that it can go that far. So I don't see anything wrong with that. But in my Super Bowl, Bills Lions, I know I've been sweet on both these teams, Bills and Lions. I have the Lions falling
No.
to the
Oh my
Bills.
god.
wow, I
I've
wasn't
got
expecting that.
Whoa.
I got Buffalo taking it all this year. Like I mean, I alluded to a little bit earlier when I said I could imagine Josh Allen holding that trophy and just like I don't know, I just see his face there to say, hey, we went through a lot this season. Our defense got kind of battered and our offense wasn't clicking. But we turned it around during the playoffs or during that playoff push in the regular season and then in the playoffs. I just got them taking that momentum all the way, you know.
Yeah,
Sweet. Yeah. And then in my Super Bowl, the Niners versus the Bills. Well, I'm calling for a natural disaster in this game. And that natural disaster is Stephon Diggs. And it's gonna be
Gross, bro.
him. It's gonna be him blowing up on the sideline, similar to last year,
Oh,
pissed off at Josh Allen, yelling at people because they just lost the Super Bowl to the 49ers.
You're picking the 49ers?
I'm taking the
Wow.
49ers to win
Oh,
the
you're
Super Bowl.
disgusting.
He's
I
just
don't
trying
want
to.
to.
He's upset about the
I
regular
don't want
season
to. Don't get me
standings
wrong.
in
Don't
our
get me
picks.
wrong. I don't want to take the Niners. I just think I want to win some free Smoking On Takes merch. And this
Thought
is
you were
my
gonna-
best chance to do that.
So I thought you were gonna say Stephon Diggs would be blowing up on the sideline that he only got 3 touchdowns instead of 4 or something like that. Can't believe he actually took the Niners, man.
I'm sorry to let you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't it's very it's
Did you change that after I said I had the Bills?
I have my whole doc posted here and you've seen my hands. They've been down here this whole time. Pause.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, here's the thing. Like I just don't see Josh Allen. I see when I don't envision Josh Allen raising a trophy. I see him down
You
on the
see Brock
field
Purdy for
on
whatever
his
reason.
knees. No, I see Christian McCaffrey raising the trophy after winning a Super Bowl. They've had this coming for a while. Like after last year, it's just very disappointing for the Niners, for their fans, for the team in general. And honestly, I feel like they have like a pretty light path up to the Super Bowl, which means ideally they'd, be a little more well rested, healthy, good to go. And against this Bills team that would have been put through a gauntlet to get there, I just think it's going to be a really tough matchup. And as much as I hate to say it, the 49ers are going to be your 2023-2024 Super Bowl champions.
Yikes.
And I will
never-
win the pigskin playoff bracket. Yeah.
That is a scary thought for sure. I mean, I just pulled up the odds as we were talking. The 49ers are heavy favorites. They're plus 225 to win the Super Bowl.
Which is
I
surprising.
see.
Crazy.
That is
I
surprising.
see. Come on, guy.
You see something different?
I thought you were saying I see something like you see something.
No,
Yeah,
you're
I might
icing,
put
bro.
like a little money down on like a like a little bit more of a long shot. If I had to go second, I'd put, the Bills. And then if I had to go like a long third, give me the Browns.
Well, the Browns are plus 3,300.
Yeah.
So you make some good
Smack
money there.
a-
They're the ninth best. Cowboys are fourth best.
Smack a five a Rooney right
Just
there.
saying.
I don't care about the Cowboys.
Lions are eighth. Eagles are
It doesn't
sixth.
matter to me. All right,
I'm
doesn't matter.
I saw Eagles dead last.
Well,
All right.
they're good.
All right,
some respect.
let's start wrapping this show up. K-Dog, walk us through your top 14 teams.
Oh yeah. So we're just doing playoff teams now. The rest of the teams have been eliminated, so we'll rank our 14 playoff teams. I think you guys know who I got number 14. We got the Steelers. They don't really deserve to be here. Number 13, although I debated putting them higher, I do have the Packers, simply because they're gonna get beat this week and we'll forget about them. Number 12, I got the Buccaneers. 11, the Texans. Number 10, I have the Eagles. I can see why. I'm curious what you guys have, Matt, but I do think I just trust them more than the Texans, Buccaneers, those other teams. Number 9, I have the Rams. Number 8, I have the Dolphins, although after how much I kind of shit on them, I don't know why I have them so high. Number 7, I have the Chiefs. 6, the Lions. 5, the Bills. 4, the Browns. 3, the Cowboys. Number 2, the 49ers. And number 1, the Ravens.
Nice.
Yeah.
Super cool. Okay, dog. Thanks for sharing.
What do you have, Coop? You like
Appreciate
to share?
that.
No,
Yeah.
I actually don't want to.
Are you going, Jay?
Oh, go ahead. No, I was just
Okay.
making a joke.
So number 14, I got the Steelers. 13, Packers. 12, I have the Eagles. 11, I have the Buccaneers. So a little different. Number 10, I got the Texans. Number 9, the Dolphins. Number 8, the Chiefs. I wish I could put them at like 32, but I got to give them a little respect. The Browns. So in retrospect, I think I put the Browns a little too high up on my last power rankings. I put them at 4, I believe. I got them down here at 7 now.
As I was reading, I think I just put them too high too. I have met above the Bills And as I was reading now, it's like, wait,
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense with what I said.
So I had to bring them down a little bit. Looking at their like last 5 or so games, I just don't think they really played the teams worthy enough to put them at 4. Rams, I actually have above them. They played early on in the season, and the Rams won. That's not why I put them up there. I just gotta give the Rams some respect. Cowboys, I have at 5. At 4, I got the Bills. At 3, I got the Lions. At 2, the 49ers. And at number 1, the Ravens.
Wow. Coop, I think did you steal my list? Did you take a peek somehow?
Maybe.
Because it sounds pretty similar to mine, which I don't like
Yeah?
how alike our takes are, because I generally don't like your takes. So does that mean I don't like my own takes? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. At number 14, I got the Steelers. 13, the Packers. 12, the Eagles. 11, the Bucks. 10, the Texans. At number 9, I got the Chiefs. Number 8, I got the Dolphins. The weird thing with that one is, like, I do think the Dolphins are a better team with better weather. In -5, I'm
they're
taking the
in
Chiefs.
Miami.
Yeah. So that's why I did that.
Fair enough.
Number 7, I got the Rams. Number 6, the Browns. I think I've been pretty consistent on those rankings for those two teams pretty much for the last 5 weeks. Actually, not the Browns. I moved up a bit. Cowboys at 5, Lions at 4, the Bills at 3, 2 49ers, 1 Ravens.
Oh yeah, our list
Lamar Jackson 0.
Sure.
All right. And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for. Shmokin' Out Take of the Week.
Yes, sir.
K-Dog, what'd you cook up for us, baby?
Yeah, well, I kind of struggled to come up with something this week, honestly. I might go with one in a game in which I'm alone on, down in Tampa Bay. I think the Eagles, they're not just going to win this game, but they're going to win by at least 17 points.
Oh,
Blowout.
3 scores.
Yeah, we're going 3 scores. In order for that to happen, I think, they're going to have to, it's going to have to be a little weird. They're going to have to score on defense, maybe score on special teams, something like that, because I don't know if the offense will be there. I'm
Julio
not
Jones
predicting that.
touchdowns?
As how many?
3.
I mean, could maybe
Low key,
4.
I want to put a bet on this game. Julio Jones anytime touchdown.
Oh, easy.
You
I
know,
feel like that's
it's funny.
money.
It's funny, like when Julio Jones was back in his prime with the Falcons, best receiver in the league. The one knock on him was that he didn't score a lot of touchdowns. But
Yeah,
now,
that's true.
he had 2 catches for 2 touchdowns. I don't know if I'd take him in an anytime touchdown. He should be taking CD. He scored 9 straight, so in
That's
9
too
straight,
easy. That's not smoking hot. That's icy cold.
But anyway, yeah, I got the Eagles winning by 17. I think, yeah, I don't know why, but I think it could happen.
I like it.
Nice. I'll jump in. So, kind of the guy I've been sweet on this whole time. I see Josh Allen holding the trophy at the end of the season. I see him having some sort of game against the Steelers. And I want to kind of cue in on a number. Number 2, I'm calling 2 touchdowns in the air, 2 touchdowns on the ground, and 2 interceptions for Josh Allen in this game.
What made you think it's 2 so much?
I don't know. Just seemed feasible.
Number 2
Is this
seed, too.
smoking hot?
That's 4 touchdowns and 2 picks. Yeah, I think that's pretty smoking.
I think so.
I might give you hot take of the week.
Oh, come on.
All right, listen to this one. I'll show
2
you
of
what a
each,
smoking
bro.
hot. I'll show you what a smoking hot take is. So I'm going to the same game that K-Dog's in, except I think kind of the opposite's going to happen. I'm calling for a big, bakey game. Going to take a big, bakey, stinky on the Eagles in prime time on Monday night. Baker Mayfield is going to be dancing on the Eagles with 4 passing touchdowns, 350 or more passing yards. And then let's script in 1 tutty to Evans, 1 tutty to Godwin, and one through the air to Rashad White. And then book one more for whoever. If I had to pick one, I'd pick Otten, but that's not part of
Trey
my. That's not
Palmer.
part of my. That's not my Shmokin hot take.
Wow,
So
you got a lot to hit there,
No.
buddy.
I got a lot to
Yeah,
hit, but I didn't come here to be a popsicle, baby. I came here to be a penguin on fire. Let's go.
Made no
what a
sense.
quote. We got to get that on a t-shirt.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, those are some fun ones. But yeah, it should be a fun. I'm really excited. Honestly, like I'm excited to watch these games. Like
Yeah.
for me, like now that I don't really have any teams in it, it's kind of low stakes, which is I guess kind of fun. Might put a little money on it. We'll see. I don't know. Doesn't nothing that screams out to me, but maybe that Julio Jones anytime tutty. But yeah, that's it for today's ep. Thank you if you made it this far. Thank you for tuning in and listening. What should our special word of the day be?
We can't say that until later, after our little ending monologue.
Oh, our ending monologue. Okay, well, you can like, follow, subscribe, check out the pod on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Spotify. Make sure to, hey, we need some, go in there and rate the podcast, please. We haven't got a rate in a while. Go rate it. And then one last reminder, before Saturday at 1:30 PST, go to the ESPN Pigskin Challenge Playoff Bracket. Join in. Put in your playoff predictions. You heard ours. Are you going to go with us? Bet against us? I'll be curious to see.
Right.
And you can follow the links and anywhere.
Yeah,
we'll post them on.
I'll make up a post for Instagram if that's your platform of choice. You'll be able to follow that pretty easy there. But yeah, we're excited to have you guys join in in a contest with us. You know, it's not just us watching you get to have fun. We're with you guys this time. So
Yep. K-Dog, you got any words for the people out there?
No, just please sign up. I mean, the more the merrier. And yeah, it should be a really fun super wildcard weekend.
Yeah, be sweet. All right, and then our word, if you know, you know.
tuna.
Craig. Oh, tuna. We go tuna. That's fine.
I do
Now,
like Craig.
did we get like hundreds of Mango messages in the past week? I'm sure we
Hey,
did.
K-Dog, gotta keep that on the down the DL, baby. They gotta go back and. No, we
I
didn't
got
get any.
I got one. So
I don't know if that counts.
yeah, it does. Why wouldn't it?
Because I said the Instagram. You gotta message the word
It's-
to Instagram.
It's fine. I'll get him in.
All
there.
right, we'll allow it. All right.
This next
But-
one going forward, you're gonna have to either say tuna or Craig. All right,
Tuna Craig.
you gotta choose one.
All right, let's get
And
out
you'll
of
be
here.
entered into a super secret contest
That
or
we
something
don't know
from
when there
us.
will be an end to.
Yeah,
It's so secret. We don't even know.
We don't even know the details of it. We just make it up as we go.
we're just keeping track. That's it.
But
Keeping
please
you
enter.
guys
Very
on your
serious.
toes.
Please enter.
All right, let's get out of here. We'll see you guys next week, and I think we'll be in person, so no remote that time. But
That's right.
yeah, have a great weekend. Be safe out there. If you're in Seattle, careful of all that snow coming in. And
We have snow coming in.
yeah, we do. Friday, Saturday might be. There's a
the weather,
35% chance. It's supposed to be like in the low
Look at the
20s.
weather, bro. I don't look at the weather.
Even
He is the
living in
weather.
I look
Iran,
out. I
even
look
if
out
it's
the
all any-
window.
It's all
in the
anyone's been
morning.
talking about.
I look at the window in the morning. I say, "Is it raining?" No, it's not. I'm good. Smoking.
That probably I doubt that happens very often. Okay.
All right, we're out of here.